nasty on what day is it? Wednesday?
Yep. All day.
Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. No Jamie Rivers throughout the course of the week. Jamie is off for the Blues. We're going to start the show every time like that?
Every day.
With you
I'm just gonna
tracking the camera?
I don't know why it does it. Do you?
No.
So then I'm going to follow it.
It's the Carey Davis slide.
There you go.
There you go. I like that.
Stare right at it.
But we can't start every show like this. I'm just going to have to not look at you. I'll just go like this. Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. Olive Boulevard looks good today.
It's coming. It's going to happen.
Let you just do your thing with this camera here. We appreciate everybody tuned in. We'll talk plenty of cards throughout the course of the day today. Do a little Super Bowl stuff. We got some fun segments like Prove Me Wrong.
I
feel like I haven't played Prove Me Wrong in a
you
while.
were sick last week.
Yeah. So
and were you the week before? Is that when you had the?
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you had when you got your first and only star. You weren't even here to receive it. How?
I feel like that was by design.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know why.
Why would you feel that way?
I just have a feeling
you got a star
that I was given that. I mean, I only went.
Unfortunately, you weren't here to receive
3/4 of the show, so there's no reason I should have received a star yet.
You were a star in that.
Yet I did.
3/4. Was it even 3/4? Was it? Did you?
I made it to 4:30. Although for the 4:15 segment, I did not participate. If you go back and watch on YouTube, we've kind of been over this. I opened the segment. It was something Blues.
It was Blues. You didn't say a word the entire segment.
I didn't say a word the entire segment. And then I tried not to throw up as I was teasing the next segment. And then
You're like, I gotta go.
I unplugged my headphones. I took my mic mouth off. And I go, hey, guys, I feel like I'm going to barf all over the place. So
You did pretty well for the first 3 quarters. And then in the last quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like
I see what you're doing.
It was like Donovan McNabb in the Super Bowl.
It was like Donovan McNabb in the Super Bowl. Absolutely,
a different team.
It was like the
that
Colts.
other team in the Super Bowl.
The other bird team.
No, you're thinking of the playoffs, or not even the playoffs. The Colts
28-3
against Marsh's Vikings.
That was a good game though.
Outstanding.
28-3. I don't know what.
Never heard of it.
I know.
Yep.
You have wiped it from your memory, huh? You had that little thing in
they still
black.
The neuralizer, I think it's what's called.
If they sell those, I would like one. If not, do they still perform? What are they? What are they called?
Lobotomy?
Lobotomy.
Yeah.
They still, I don't think they're still practicing that. There's probably some whack job doctor that's willing to do it, though.
You want someone to
maybe I just do that.
Scratch that from your memory.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure the procedure is safe.
Yeah, Carey and I will put on our glasses.
Yeah.
We'll take the neuralizer. We'll wipe your memory.
Done.
And we'll
Never
get the show going.
There you go. All right. Let's talk about your Redbirds here. So Katie Wu of The Athletic tweeted this out. Fangraphs gives the Cardinals a 55.6% chance to make the 2024 playoffs. Best odds to win the division outright at 38.3%, all with a projected win total of 84.4. If you remember yesterday, the PECOTA rankings were out. We talked about it. And PECOTA gave the Cardinals 85.5 wins. So slightly lower for the Fangraph projections, but nonetheless, they still have the Cardinals winning the division.
It's awesome.
What's the deal, Marsh?
We get a text from FedEx Colton. Anthony, I gave you the first star literally because you left.
That's nice. Yeah, I appreciate that. I feel good. If you texted that in to make me feel good today,
you're on the right track.
You're on the right track. You've accomplished that.
Started in
thank
the right
you.
way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The more that like other projections, I wouldn't even say they're slamming them because PECOTA had the Cardinals with the third most wins. Fangraphs at least has them making the playoffs at over a 50% clip and winning the division at 38.3%. I think that was probably the highest within the division. In fact, let me verify here real quick. It was. So these are pretty good projections, but they still feel like they're slighting them a little bit.
It feels like expected goals. Anthony. I don't care about your expectations.
You know what I like about you, Carey?
I'm consistent.
I like your energy. I like your drive, your determination, and I like how you somehow bring it back to like analytics or some form of analytics where the Cardinals playing the same damn position throughout the course of the year.
It's consistent. That's what I like to see. Consistency. Consistency.
And just get in.
Just get in.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it. Now we're going to get a shirt. Just get in. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you win when you just get in. You just got to get there, though.
Yeah.
That's the main point. And so once you do that, but if it's 85.5 wins or 84.5 or however, just 84.4, excuse me. How do you get the 0.4, you think? Yeah.
They carve up the win.
Okay.
Yeah. They gave several wins to several different teams, but they broke up that win.
Saying, can they get 84.88?
They cannot. No,
okay.
no.
So 84.4. 84.
84. You round down in that.
Correct.
Either round down or you round up.
We rounded up yesterday with PECOTA, so they had 86 wins for our beloved Cardinals. Fangraphs 84.
You give it a couple more days, it could be at 80. It's going to keep going in the wrong direction.
Nah. Well, they traded a guy today.
They did.
Zuninga?
Yeah,
he's dealt. Probably to the Rays, right? That's the only team they trade with now.
The Angels, actually.
He's an Angel now. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Zuninga. Anybody ticked off about losing Zuninga? Nah. I think these projections are just fine for this team. I think they fit. I think they're apt. The Cubs being there at 37% chance to make the playoffs. Brewers at 33.3. Reds 25.6. Pirates 16.5. The rest of the teams, if I'm looking at that makes sense. If we hop around and go to different divisions, the Braves with a 98.6% chance to make the playoffs, yeah, I can see that. Now, could they have a slew of injuries? Sure. But all things being equal, all things considered, the Braves should make the playoffs at a higher clip than everybody else in the National League, including the Dodgers, who are 95.1, which, again, makes sense.
I like to look at past years, and so I went to 2023. How many? What do you think the percentage was for them to make the playoffs for this Fangraphs in 2023?
For the Cardinals? Yeah. In 2023?
Yeah. Coming off of a 90-win season in 22?
I would say 58%.
67.
Oh, I was way low. Okay.
Didn't work out.
I wonder what their projections liked about last year's team.
So here's the thing, because you thought I was crazy when I said this. In March, you can probably vouch for this. Mm-hmm. He thought I was crazy when I said going into 2023, we were more excited about the pitching staff. I was more excited about that pitching staff than this 2024 staff. Now, you're probably looking at it through the glasses. I mean, you have a real view of what took place because you actually saw 2023. Mm-hmm. But if you were to go back to February of 2023, I think you would have been more excited about that rotation than this rotation, coming off of what you saw. And clearly, Fangraphs was more excited about the entire team. What has changed other than the pitchers, what has really changed from this team? Okay, so not to be semantic Steve on everybody here. Thank you, Steven. But you say excited. More excited. Right. So you're saying you were more excited about last year's rotation than going in before the season started. Make sure before the season started last year. Yeah. But the conversation that day was to me, I said there was more. The whole thing that sparked this conversation was me saying there was more questions about last year's rotation heading into the season than there are questions about this year. I think these numbers would show that that's not true as well. Because it was 67%. There were less questions, and maybe it's based off of the prior season because you did win and make it to the playoffs the prior season, and then you kind of so maybe they corrected themselves. But I couldn't tell you what I'm going to get out of this Cardinals team for 2024. That's the honest truth. That's the best answer that I have for you because I don't know. I don't know which pitchers are going to show up. Are they going to be the best versions of themselves? Are they going to be similar to what they were last year? Maybe eat up more innings, but if you give up a lot of hits, it's kind of like the shots on goal for hockey. If you allow a lot of shots, eventually some of them are going to go in. If you allow a lot of hits, eventually people are going to score. Yeah. So I don't know which version we're going to get for 2024. I am truthfully taking a wait-and-see approach. I'm not going to be too high or be too low. until May, June, and kind of have a feel for what this team is. And if they are middle of the pack, I will say they are a middle of the pack team. And I will be okay with it. Or not be okay with it, but I will accept it.
Okay, so I want to get into something next related to the Cardinals. You just said something, Carey, and I just realized, on the fly here, that maybe we're doing something with the Cardinals that are combining two things that don't need to be combined.
Okay.
Let's get into that next on 101 ESPN. Carey, you said something at the end of last segment that I can't remember now, but it sparked a thought for me when it comes to the Cardinals coming up that I hadn't really, this upcoming season, I should say, that I really hadn't thought about beforehand. that is, we look at this roster and we say, and we make judgments on it, right? You may fall into the camp that says the Cardinals roster right now, boy, it's better than it was last year. And that gives you hope that the season's going to be much better than it was a year ago. You may look at this roster like I do and say, it's anywhere between average to slightly above average.
Okay. And
then you can start going through all the different machinations, right? Like if Jordan Walker does this, if Mason Wynn does this, if. Some of you look at the roster and it's like, yeah, it's nowhere close to the Dodgers, Braves, or Phillies, and therefore it's crap. I don't really care where you are, what group you fall into when it comes to looking at this roster and judging it. But I do think we get into this mode of, like for me, this roster is slightly above average, but I still think they win the division. I think both things can be true, but I think when we start talking about the roster is only average or slightly above average, people are like, you don't believe in the Cardinals, you don't think they can win the division. No, that's not the case at all. Or it's you think they could beat the Dodgers and the Braves. No, I think we need to separate the division and where the Cardinals fall in the division and what the roster looks like.
I think there are two different groups of fans, right? There are, maybe three. One group that says, enough is not being done. We need more. Another group that says, just win and get in. I fall in that group. Just get in and anything is possible. Yeah. And then another group that says, damn, just getting in. We're about winning championships.
That's where I'm at.
And so you have some people that are not happy at all. Some people are happy if they get in. Mm-hmm. And then some people, no, just getting in is not what we do in St. Louis. It's winning championships. And this team, in my opinion, and I thought the same thing last year, is a team that can get into the playoffs. Now, the pitching showed me otherwise last year, and then everything else fell apart. But this team does feel like a team that can get into the playoffs. But can they make a run in the playoffs? I often hear, people, to me, there are exceptions to the rule. Mm-hmm. The Diamondbacks were the exception to the rule. The rule is a team that pays players the amount of money that the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves, who have structured their roster in a way where they pay all of their players and they're locked in. Those are the teams that usually win, at least make it to the final, to the final round, to the World Series. The exception is the Arizona the Diamondbacks. We don't look at ourselves as the exception to the rule. We are the rule. So the rule is we should be in the World Series year after year after year. It's not going to happen.
Right.
But I think you can't get enamored with, the Diamondbacks, they did this and they made it and we should be like. That's the exception, because the team that spends more money usually is going to have more success because they got better players, and better players play better at crunch time and in crucial and critical moments. And so just figuring out what this team is, who they are, how I look at the Cardinals right now, just get in is the philosophy, but just be good enough to make it to the trade deadline, and then we'll add that last piece that we need to get you over the hump. And I think that's what the Cardinals' philosophy is going to be. It's what the Texas Rangers did. They added a couple of pieces, a couple of arms, and it helped them. And so the Cardinals are probably going to be in that mindset, not spend too much. But if we can get an expiring contract at the trade deadline that'll put us over the hump, that's probably what they'll be.
I think a lot of fans want to be in that environment that they've been used to for the past, 15 to 20 years, right? Like being in the NLCS. You look at the Astros, they've been in the NLCS for 6 straight years, or the ALCS for 6 straight years now. And I hate that notion of, the Astros, they needed to break it all down and rebuild and get to where they're at. Okay, that's fine for the first few years, but they've been able to sustain that, and they're not drafting in the top 10 every season. Why are they figuring things out when this ball club hasn't been, right? So why can't the Cardinals be in that same conversation? I think that's why a lot of people are upset, because they have expectations for this team. They've seen what they've done in this century, and they have not replicated that.
Yeah.
People want to go to games in October, late in October, and this team really hasn't provided, other than 1 year, they haven't really provided that for the fans.
For me, I'm not saying I've always had this clear, this is where I'm at with the Cardinals. This has evolved over time, but I am in the camp of the way that they go about building their roster at times is infuriating. I am not in the camp of they need to spend X amount of dollars. They need to spend big. They need to do, when it comes to the offseason, they need to be in on all the top free agents. It would be nice, but it's not realistic with the way other teams are spending.
Right.
But I do become infuriated with this notion or this approach of, okay, we coming off last year, we have 3 needs, and we met those 3 needs, and we're good. That, to me, is such a stagnant mindset.
I agree, but you, myself, Marsh, none of the people that are listening can change that. Well, they can change it by not going. If you don't like what you're seeing, you don't have to purchase that product.
Right.
You can do something different with your time and your money. And if you want to invoke change, then you change. But otherwise, this is the philosophy, this is the mindset. They are just trying to get to win the division. And you had the words you sent to us during your absence were profound.
Thank you. I have no idea what I said.
The Cardinals don't try because no one else in the division is. They got at least 3 teams that aren't trying year after year.
Doesn't that bother you?
Why?
As a fan. I realize that we can't do anything
As
about
a fan,
it. But we watch sports. We can't impact how the Cardinals are going to play, or how the Steelers are going to play, or how the Falcons are going to play. Obviously, because that would change that. But I know we can't. But we still watch, and we also consume other teams. And I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, one of the things that I'm most enthralled about, and I've been this way since I was a little kid when it came to sports, is how teams are built, how teams are built, and why they're built in that way. Whether it's because of the stadium or because of the way they've always done it, or because they got a new head coach or new GM, I've always been interested in how different teams can be. But the Cardinals, in the last, 4 or 5 years, have gone to like this. Well, we changed our approach with the draft. We got more high end players now. We're with higher ceilings. Awesome. That was one thing that was a huge problem. But then they've completely overlooked the pitching, or they've completely looked other different aspects of how other teams are being built right now. You don't have to spend a bunch of money, but you do have to be savvy. You do have to think outside the box. And I think the most predictable damn thing this offseason was Cardinals are going to get 3 guys. They're going to get 3 pitchers. There was not going to be another starter added. It was going to be 3 on the nose, 3 or less. They needed 3 guys. They got 3 guys, and that's it. As opposed to saying, okay, we signed these 3 guys because we knew we needed 3, so let's have a little urgency here. But then there's other guys that are still available. Maybe the asking price is coming down. Jordan Montgomery's still available.
Yeah,
Blake Snell's still available.
The Cardinals won't sign neither one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because we have our rotation. We like our rotation. We're bullish on our rotation. What's wrong with, at some point, the market comes down for these guys, and you go to Boris or you go to these agents and you say, hey, let's talk.
I'm with you 100%.
But that's not the mindset for them.
It's not.
Or it's seemingly not.
No, I don't think it. I think you're correct. It doesn't feel that way. They haven't done that at any point or at any level. So they did what they said they were going to do, whether or not you like. And I think that's when we were talking last week about having Army on, when Army was on, and we talked about that's the difference. Like, it just feels like this is what we're doing. Deal with it.
Right.
It's like when you're a kid. Like your mom said, this is what you get.
Right.
You get what you get and don't have a fit. Now, go to bed.
Right.
Wait, it's 7 p.m. Go to bed.
Yeah, you're right. Or like you get hurt. Mom, my arm is off. Yeah?
Put a Band-Aid on it.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it.
It'll be
over
okay. It feels like that's what the Cardinals do to us.
Yeah.
But we still show up. So if you want to invoke change and you're bothered by what's going on, then do something different.
I think what you're saying is trauma's real.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think this organization would change, though. If people don't show up, that means they're making less money, which means they're not going to spend more because they're making less money. That makes no sense.
Right.
So the fans are sort of in like a standstill now.
Yeah.
They don't want to show up, then they won't show up.
Right.
But again, they're not going to, the fans didn't show up. Well, we probably need to spend more money. That's not the thought process.
Marsh, that is a logical take. You're absolutely right. If we're not making more, we're not going to spend more. You're absolutely right. My thing, if that happens though, and Carey's right, there would be some sort of impact that we need to change.
Well,
it might
I
not
agree,
be
though.
spending. It might be okay. Finally looking, why are we behind some of these other teams? Why are we behind? It's not just the spending. You're behind the Rays, who don't spend at all. Mm-hmm. You're behind the Orioles. You're behind, there's a litany of teams that you are behind.
Because those other teams in their divisions are good enough to push them to be better. And that's what this division does not do.
Marsh, I think that's fair.
It is.
It might
I think
be.
that's fair.
Because if you're the Rays, you can't just sit and stand pat when,
Right.
Philly and Atlanta are playing in the manner in which they are.
Sure.
You have to do something, right?
Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah. Marsh, you might have hit the nail on the head.
Nice job there, Marsh.
There you go, Marsh.
I
Took us
try.
almost 12 minutes, and Marsh finally nailed
That's
it.
it.
I do
landed
my
the plane.
best.
Nice job,
The Yankees
kid.
and the Red Sox, you know what I mean. Yeah. I said, go ahead.
Okay. Is George Kittle a better tight end than Travis Kelce? Yeah, he is. And now I just ticked off everybody in the world. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Anthony, I know you and I are alike. Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some bets. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. If you want to bet on Super Bowl 58, you can do that. Or you can bet on them many other ways. What do they have?
I mean, they've got, let's see here, every single player prop known to man on every single player.
Like
I mean, we're not just talking about Patrick Mahomes player props or Brock Purdy player props. We're talking about fourth wide receiver player props. How many catches will Marquez Valdez-Scantling have? They've got over-unders on that. They've got it all at FanDuel. They got great promotions going on, including how new customers join today and get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. That's right, $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. You do have to visit FanDuel.com/fast. Remember that /fast to sign up. Take advantage of this promo. Again, that's FanDuel.com/fast, and you can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 and older, present in Illinois. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update. Driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues are back in action on Saturday, taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Pregame starts at 11. Puck drop is at 12, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We'll talk with our guy, Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic at 4:30. So stay tuned for that interview. Once again, Blues and Sabres on Saturday. They'll also take on the Canadians on Sunday with the pregame starting at 11. And then after that game, we'll have Super Bowl 58 as the Chiefs take on the 49ers. We have quite the interesting conversation coming up next. Is George Kittle a better tight end than Travis Kelce? We'll dive into that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Here's Kansas City from the 19, throwing at the goal line, and it's caught by Kelce for the touchdown. With Kyle Hamilton all over him, the matchup you wanted to watch, Kelce wins it. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All right, there you go. Some sights and sounds from this year's playoffs, including how Maximus Meridius Decimus
One of the greatest movies ever.
annihilated whoever the hell he was in front of in Gladiator. Carey, that reminds me,
movies.
that exact line reminds me of you. Do you know why?
Why?
Do you remember? Because every time you and I did the Rams postgame show, following another loss, we would open with that.
They weren't entertained more time.
No. In fact, maybe we did it after wins. You know, you know what I'm saying? But anytime I hear that, I'm like, my God, CD on that one.
So you guys didn't do it a lot.
We didn't do it. No.
I'm glad the memory was so good for you, too.
I know you
that
remember.
You also remember. You think of me.
Sorry.
I appreciate it, Gary.
I think of you, and I think of the draft in 7th round, man.
Those were some days, man.
Yeah, this guy's great. Never seen him play, man.
What school did he go to? I heard that. I heard that school. Marsh, we used to do at the NFL draft
Wesleyan.
coverage where the Thursday night, the first round,
We were good.
we were good. And it was me, Carey, like Steve Savard, I think Randy Carricker, maybe all the big hitters would show up for Thursday. And then for Friday, for the second and third rounds, and then for Saturdays when it was real special.
It's when you got to the nitty gritty.
It was me, Carey, and Michael Young for the entire draft.
Like 7 hours.
It was a lot. We were delirious by Saturday.
I bet you the Google machine was working real hard that day.
Are you kidding me?
Who the hell is that guy?
Good times. Good times. All right, so I teased the segment. I'm sure a lot of people are mad at me right now. But listen, this is a technicality. And I'm sure if you know me and you listen to the show enough, you know what this technicality is. What I teased was George Kittle is a better tight end than Travis Kelce. And quite frankly, it's not even close.
Oh, wow. The words that you speak.
Do you know why? Do you know why, though? I headlined you.
I know why you're going to say. I just disagree with the thought process.
That's fine. We can get into that. But I did the old headline here. Because when you click down in the article, you're like, oh, okay. There's only one of these guys that's a tight end. George Kittle is a tight end. Travis Kelce is not. Travis Kelce is a wide receiver. What record did Travis Kelce just break?
He broke a wide receiver's record.
Thank you.
However, he plays tight end.
No, he does not.
And here's why. The notion that you have to have your hand in the dirt lined up next to the tackle, the right tackle or the left tackle, makes you a tight end is not what the game of football has become. These guys are so athletic, so freakishly athletic. You can put them in the slot, detached away from that tackle and line him up in the slot. He's still a tight end. Do you know why? Because the guys that are wide receivers run a lot faster than the guys that are tight ends. The guys that are wide receivers do things differently. They are some of the most skilled, gifted athletes in the world. Travis Kelce is not. He's a tight end. He just is detached from the line, and therefore he gets a little bit more space and is able to get a little bit more wiggly in the slot. Mm-hmm. But he's still a tight end. Does he block? Yes. Does he block as well as George Kittle? No.
Does
he block?
I want you to show the snake pit how you said that last one.
Does he block? No. Does he?
Yeah-ish.
Not as well as George Kittle, because George Kittle is more of an inline tight end, able to line up right next to your tackle. Mm-hmm. They can run power. He can down block and get to the backside backer. He can do all those things. Travis Kelce can as well. I've seen him do it. It's just not what he does as well as George Kittle. He's still a tight end. Was Gronkowski a tight end?
Absolutely.
You lined him up in the slot as well. He could do both.
He could do both.
That doesn't make is Jimmy Graham a tight end?
Yeah.
Why?
Actually, no. He's a receiver. He was more of a receiver.
He got paid as a tight end when he tried to get the franchise tag.
That's a different story. Yeah, that's a different story. That's teams trying to cap your spending.
It is what it is.
I've gotten into the same conversation about Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, he's a unicorn of a tight end. No, he's not. He's a receiver. Kyle Pitts is a receiver.
He might actually be a receiver.
Carey, you have forgotten more about football than I will ever learn, okay, and ever know. It's a fact. But one thing that you and I can agree on is, as much as the game has changed, and it has changed, the one thing that remains constant is the positions. Quarterback was a quarterback back then. It's quarterback it's now.
But they do different things. The quarterbacks, 40 years ago, no one would have been able to dream of a Michael Vick or a Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
Right.
Like, not to that level. The position evolves is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, they don't drop back straight back anymore. Offensive line does not block with their fists touching.
Right. They don't wear leather helmets on.
There you go.
However,
the positions evolve.
Okay, but wouldn't you be proving my point then, in that the position has evolved, right? But if you want to put both guys in the tight end category, yet one is an outstanding pass catcher, an outstanding route runner, an outstanding weapon in the passing game, and an outstanding blocker. You can line up George Kittle anywhere.
Okay.
Travis Kelce, you can line him up. Usually you got to detach. If not, you usually know he's going to run a route, right? Not the strongest blocker. Willing, but not the strongest blocker. Certainly not what George Kittle is.
I don't think he's as willing as George. I think he can do it. I just don't think he's willing to do it as much. But he doesn't have to.
Also a great pass catcher. Also great hand. But if we're gonna put them in the same category, George Kittle does more things then. This is why I want to separate the two. I don't think they play the same position. I think Travis Kelce is a receiver.
I don't view him as that.
Well,
what is Mark Andrews? Is Mark Andrews a tight end or is he a receiver?
He's a tight end. He can block.
He can, but he catches a lot of passes as well.
But if we're going to talk about tight ends...
So Shannon Sharp is more Travis Kelce than George Kittle.
Yes.
He's one of the greatest tight ends to play the game.
Okay. If you put Shannon Sharp, though, in the same category as other tight ends that played at that time, then that's where the conversation comes in. These two guys have played at the same time. One is a tight end. The other is an outstanding receiver that is labeled as a tight end. I mean, maybe it's just semantics here, but...
Marshy, what say you?
I think that from a tight end standpoint, if you want to define like what Anthony's saying, the position, I think George Kittle, I think you can make the argument that George Kittle is a better tight end than Travis Kelce, but I don't think there's any debate whether or not Travis Kelce is a better pass catcher than George Kittle.
I just feel like the position has evolved Tony Gonzalez. What
Tony was not Tony was not a strong blocker.
So he was
a receiver.
Most of them are. Jay Novacek is a tight end. I don't see him on the top 10 list for receptions. Like those guys are if you want to consider, I mean, because when you talk about tight end, you're talking about Tony Gonzalez, you're talking about Antonio Gates, you're talking about Shannon Sharp, Rob Gronkowski. When you talk about that position, you're not talking about, oh, that was a hell of a down block. That was a hell of a scoop block by Rob. No, no one cares.
Rob Gronkowski, though, separates himself, in my opinion,
but
with the way he was one of the best blockers as a tight end.
But when you talk about the entire position, when you're talking about the position and who is the greatest of them all, and listing them in order, you're not basing it off of who blocks the best. You're basing it off of who catches the most passes and who does the most when they get the ball in their hand.
This reminds me of what the Gold Glove has often been about up until recently. The Gold Glove is all right, who plays that position and who's got the best offensive numbers.
Or the Norris. Jamie talks about that all the time.
Yeah. That is where I'm coming from. It's like, hey, that's it. Why did Marcel Ozuna win a Gold Glove? It wasn't because of his defense. It's because he was offensively one of the best left fielders in the game at that in that year that he won it. That's what I'm trying to say. If I don't want to minimize what the tight end position is all about, it's supposed to be this ultimate mismatch.
Right.
Because you don't know if you're going to wind up on your backside because Kittle blocked you and opened up Christian McCaffrey on a 70-yard run, or he's going to block first, release, and now he's a mismatch against a linebacker safety corner because of his receiving ability. I don't want to minimize the tight end position by saying, well, you don't have to block.
You don't. Oh. You got fullbacks, and they don't use those either.
Tailback, fullback, same position?
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Hell no.
And why is that?
because
and
one of them gets the dang on ball, and the other blocks for the guy getting the ball. That's why.
Okay.
But
I think they're the same. They line up in the same spot. Same thing.
You are ridiculous.
I knew I'd get him with that one. I knew I'd get the old fullback Super Bowl champion Carey Davis on that one. All right, fun debate. No real answer on that, but I figure we had that discussion in the office with Rock and Rockio, Matt Rockio, who produces the opening drive. You know Rock very well, obviously from your days there. Rockio had the same viewpoint as you did. And 10 minutes into it, Marsh goes, yep, that's a segment. So, wound up being good. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's see what's trending next. Mentality is a place that Jamie and I went to almost a year ago, and it's a spot where we walked in different men because we were constantly battling. Two guys. He's in his mid 40s. I'm in my early 40s, where over time you lose your testosterone. Testosterone levels go down. Testosterone impacts your ability to work out the way you want to, the way that you want to complete tasks, the way you sleep, the way you wake up. You do have a lot of energy throughout the course of the day, or you're crushing coffee or energy drinks throughout the course of the day. That's what Jamie and I were doing constantly. I mean, there would be days where I'd look over and Jamie's got 3 coffees. He looks over, I got at least 1 energy drink. It's not the way to do it, guys. Not now. Now it's just water, and we're eating right and focused, because Mentality puts you on a program that increases your testosterone in a safe manner. It does so with the experts overlooking the situation for you, constantly checking to make sure that you're in perfect health and you're doing it the right way, and you feel great. And you feel great at home. You feel great at work. You put in the work when it comes to working out. You feel younger. It helps. So visit Mentality. 2 locations, 1 in South County, 1 in Chesterfield, or go to lowtusa.com. And when you do visit them, tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in. It's Mentality.
Find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, it's Super Bowl week, which means we got some Radio Row to go over. There's something going on the internet regarding Brock Purdy. I think the opening drive talked about it today as well, but some people are saying that Brock Purdy looks like a famous person in American history. I'm actually just going to play the audio, and we'll see what you think about this. I actually can't believe that someone actually asked this question to an NFL quarterback, but here is the audio.
Pictures of you and Lee Harvey Oswald circling around the internet right now. People think you two look alike. Did you ever hear that before?
I haven't. That's my first time hearing it. Yeah.
What do you think about that comparison? Physical comparison, obviously.
I don't know.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
First of all,
Really?
he doesn't look anything like him, from what I can tell. Even if he does.
That was awesome the way Carey just did that.
I had to look at him again. Okay.
I can see
If you
a
squint
slight
and turn your
resemblance, but
head, maybe a little bit. But I don't think that's a question that you ask.
yeah. Well, you know, Carey, you've been a part of the media,
Some
Super Bowl
weird-
media days.
It is. It's anything. It's a free-for-all.
Yeah, you get.
Yeah.
You're going to get ESPN, and you're also going to get the blog post website or
Everyone.
quite frankly radio station
Yeah.
that wants to make a name. They want to go viral. We were just talking to Josh Innes of KSHE, the sister station.
You get a chance to
Google
talk to
Josh Innes, that psychopath. You've heard him on these airwaves before, and I would tell he's a psychopath right to his face.
And Seth Payne, right? It was.
And Seth Payne, they got into it. They were rival radio stations. They got into it Super Bowl week to one time. But I mean, he flat out tell us like, yeah, you're doing a bit. That's a bit. That is somebody trying to get a viral moment out of Brock Purdy. It's unfortunate. Purdy handled it well. I don't know, Carey. I don't know what you do about it if you're the athlete outside of just you know what.
I don't remember who it was or what it was. It was during Super Bowl week leading up to it, and there's so many interview requests, and it was they asked me for an interview, and I can't remember what station or what medium they came from, but the conversation was trying to get me to have some bulletin board material.
Yeah.
Whoa, the Cardinals stink, don't they? They're a good team, and just the way that they kept poking at, like it pissed me off.
Yeah, sure.
And I told our media people, hey, do not ever let them talk to me again, because I don't like
anybody,
it.
yeah.
Or anybody. Just don't do that, because there are some people that do try to poke the bear, try to get some information out of you, try to get something. And, this is Super Bowl week. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be dialed in, obviously, working on making sure you're ready and prepared to beat the team you're facing. But some of the stuff does go a little left,
Yeah.
which is why as it gets later on in the week, what are we at? Wednesday? We said that earlier. Today's
Yeah.
Wednesday? I don't know what today is.
I went with it.
I think it's Wednesday. Thursday, you get to shut everything down and really lock in on football.
Sure.
So this should be the last day, hopefully, for the nonsense.
I just feel like some of these questions are just so unprofessional, though.
Oh, they absolutely are. Again, they're trying to create a viral situation. They're trying to create a moment that, whether it's with the athlete or a former athlete, it happens, and their name is attached to it.
This is from 314. I forgot about this. Mahomes was asked to give his Kermit the Frog impression.
See, that one doesn't bother me as much because that one.
What if he's sensitive
out
about
there.
his voice?
I mean, I would feel bad about that, certainly. That one doesn't bother me as much as, hey, do you think you look like the guy who, whether the guy or part of a team that shot John F. Kennedy?
Well, one of the guys, maybe.
Maybe.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know. He probably handled that better than I would have. What are you saying?
Purdy, you talking
Yeah.
about?
What are you saying? Huh? You think it's funny? Think I'm a joke now?
Right.
Like, yeah. A good
Clown? Like a
think I'm
clown?
Huh?
Laugh, ha ha, funny, ha ha.
Did you see the
Funny
guys?
Funny how, Marsh?
There was Pete Blackburn, if you know who that is, he does some work with the NHL as a podcast.
Pitcher for the A's.
No, not that guy. There was a few guys that asked everybody hockey questions to the coaches, to the players, and they're like, "What? Like, what are you talking?" I have the audio if you want to listen to it.
Sure.
All right, this is it.
Coach, what did you like about your team's play in the conference final?
I like the grit that they showed.
Nick, what made you want to be a defenseman? Debo, you got such great hands like Connor McDavid. How important are hands to your game?
Well, you got to have good hands to be a wideout.
Harrison, you can boot the ball 62 yards. Would you consider yourself a 200-foot player?
No.
Okay. Charvarius, I'm seeing a real lack of playoff beards. Does the team not respect tradition?
A lack of what?
Check it out, a Vegas Golden Knights friendship bracelet.
Hey, I'll take it. I'm a hockey fan. Thank you guys, man.
No problem, Travis. Good luck in the big game.
This is the most I grew in 27 years, man.
You've been growing that for 27 years?
27 years. I got a baby face a little bit.
Isaiah, you play hard and angry like a Nathan McKinnon. What goes into that style of play?
A Nathan McKinnon.
Patrick, is possession becoming more important in today's game?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to turn the ball over. I mean, that's always been something that's been with football forever.
Who's Nathan McKinnon?
Avalanche.
Oh.
As a kicker, what are your thoughts on icing? I play hard and angry.
Girl, shout out to you, bro.
What will your defense have to do to get bodies to the front of the end zone? To stop them from entering the end zone.
That was good. That was funny.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
And I think the play, Carey, I think if you were on the other end there, if you're a player, that one doesn't bother you. You're like, I see what you're doing here. That's funny.
What the heck are you talking about?
Yeah. That's at least somewhat
He
clever.
said a who? A what? A Nathan who?
that should go viral over, somebody who's trying to poke the bear and get him one off in a one reaction.
Right.
That was funny.
So that was pretty funny. But last thing here, obviously you heard Vegas Golden Knights friendship bracelet. The Golden Knights defeated the Edmonton Oilers last night, snapped Edmonton's 16-game winning streak, and they fell one short of tying the Pittsburgh Penguins for the longest NHL winning streak.
Unreal.
Pittsburgh.
That's a heck of a run.
It is.
That's remarkable. It's 17 in a row. You said 6 or 16? 16. They're going for 17. 16 in a row. Absolutely remarkable. It's difficult to do. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Is load management becoming an issue now in another sport outside of basketball? Interesting takes from you find out next on 101 ESPN. 3:04, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Nobody is safe here in the fast lane. That's one of our mottos, and it usually applies to me. So, Marsh, we got a great text in the. Carey and I were debating earlier whether or not Travis Kelce is a better tight end than George Kittle, and a lot of people were like, "Well, of course, Travis Kelce is a better tight end." I argue Travis Kelce isn't a tight end. Carey and I talked about it for about 8 or 9 minutes, and then we got this text message.
From the 314, why would someone who never, all caps, played in the NFL argue position with a guy who actually won a freaking Super Bowl? That seems dumb.
I've got 2 responses to that. One's shorter. The other one's a little longer. I'll go with the shorter one first. I'm dumb. I'm not bright.
Stalter on the fumble.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the guy that fumbled at Northern Illinois, you know?
Oh, man.
Back up. Don't get the punt. I backed up. I went for the ball.
Yeah, it happened.
Then I fumbled.
You were trying to make a play.
I was trying to make a play, Carey.
Sometimes
we were up 40.
Make a play.
I wanted to be up 46.
Playmakers make plays.
You're darn right. Yeah. But no,
right.
I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I just do things that are stubborn and stupid. And yeah. So that's the shorter answer.
Opinionated.
The sure, we can go with that. That seems nicer to me and my soul.
There you go.
Carey, the other longer answer would be, why don't we just we'll play it out, all right? Carey, do you think that George Kittle is a better tight end than Travis Kelce?
No.
I agree. You played in the NFL. I didn't.
That's the end of that segment.
What else do we have? Carey, do you think the Chiefs here are going to win the Super Bowl? Or?
Yep.
I agree. You played in the NFL. I didn't. There goes every football conversation that we can have known to man. Do the same damn thing with Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie's here.
Yep.
Jamie, what do you think about the third line right now? I love it. Me too. You played in the NHL. I didn't. So there's that. You know what? I'll open up the segments and close them. And then you guys do your thing in between. Because I'm useless. What? 2 pros and 1 average Joe. That's right. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
Welcome to the fast lane. Here's your topic, Carey.
Just sitting back.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll be in the corner for the next 10 minutes, and then I'll tease the next segment, because I'm the radio guy. And I don't know anything.
I love that answer better than the first one.
Both are true.
Oh, my goodness.
Right? You know?
Oh,
all right. That was fun. So, Buck Showalter, who managed in Major League Baseball for quite a long time, he had some interesting comments on the podcast Foul Territory about load management. And we normally hear this in basketball. Big problem for the NBA. Don't know if certain stars are going to be available in your city or when they come to the city because of load management. They're going to be off. They're going to be playing. We don't know. Big deal in the NBA. Could this also be an issue in Major League Baseball? Here's Buck Showalter.
Did a triple and 2 doubles, and they came in and said he probably needs a day off because he ran too much around the bases. So what do you mean tell him? Don't get any hits so you can play the next day? I didn't quite understand that one. Okay, I said, okay, you go out there and tell Brandon Nimmo that he's not playing today because he did too well last night.
I think the game becoming so specialized, so meaning you do that one thing really well. That's the only thing you're going to do. So you're only going to hit lefties. Marsh, you're only going to face lefties. That's it. And I'm only, you know what, I'm useless. So, Jamie, you're only, Anthony, you don't even show up to the park. You stupid, stupid man. Jamie's only going to face the first batter in the 3rd inning on a Tuesday. The game's become so specialized, it has ruined the flow of the game at times, in my opinion. But when it comes to what Buck Showalter's talking about and the load management, I do think it is an issue, not to the NBA level, because you do have 162 games. NBA, there's a lot. There's 82. But when it comes to baseball, 162, you go to the ballpark. Aaron Judge isn't in the lineup one day. It sucks. But you could probably catch a game another point. And you may catch 10 more games that season and see him in the lineup in 9 of them, right? So I don't think it's the same problem. But I do wonder, Carey, if sports science is starting to get in the way of injuries. You know, I this is totally anecdotal. I don't have any scientific research to back this up. But when I see a team like the Yankees, who pride themselves on resting guys a bunch, have as many injuries to the same guys that are resting, as opposed to the Braves, who are playing guys 150-plus games, and they're going to the post every time. I wonder if guys can get into the, you can also build yourself up. In football, Carey, you know that you're working out in the offseason to put on enough muscle so that, because you're going to lose some throughout the course of the year because you're going to be banged up, so you can withstand playing in week 17, playing in week, hopefully playing in the playoffs. I think there is a conditioning aspect to playing professional ball.
I think that it makes me cringe when I hear Buck Showalter talk about that. Well, he's not going to play because he was running around the bases too much. First of all, it's not. The running that they do is not nearly the amount of running that Steph Curry does or that an NFL wide receiver does. It's not the same. But all in all, the fact that you feel analytically that his body needs a rest because you feel like he ran too much the night before, that's when I say the number guys, that's too much. Because what I think you should do as a manager, as a trainer, hey, how you feel? I'm good. Make sure you get some rest tonight. We got another one tomorrow. Or, nah, coach, I'm a little sore. I'm a little tired. I think I tweaked my hamstring. My calf is a little. Okay, we'll give you a day off.
Yeah.
Asking the player how you feel. And if you had 3 hits the night before, who in the hell wants to sit out?
Right.
You're clearly seeing the ball really well. And so I don't think most people want to take a day off or take time off when they're hitting or seeing the ball well. They want to keep going out there and getting more hits and keep building on that. So I just think sometimes the analytic part, we tend to look at the numbers and punch those numbers in and think that speaks complete sentences for a specific player, as opposed to saying, no, how do you feel? What are you going through? How are you today? When you get to the ballpark, are you good? You well rested? Do you need a day?
Yeah.
No, I'm good, Skip. I'm good. I can go. Well, let's play.
Sure.
Because your best players help you win games. And if those guys are taking time off, if they can't pitch in back-to-back games, if they can't play because the grass or the turf hurts their knees, well, you probably shouldn't. You probably aren't going to have as much success as a team when guys are taking days off or given that many days off. So I agree with Buck. I just think it's crazy and maddening.
I wonder, too, like these scheduled days off, no matter what, like you said, you got a hitting streak. Oh, he's off today. We scheduled this back in April, or May.
Never mind that he's on a 15-game hitting streak and hitting the cover off the ball.
Especially in baseball. Baseball's so streaky. You don't even want to give a guy a day off when he's 0 for gopher at his last 50 at-bats and he's got 45 strikeouts. Give the guy a mental day. Say, hey, listen, champ. Sit over here. All right? Take a day off.
You all right?
You all right? No, look at you. Sit down.
Come on, sit down.
We're good. All right? We're gonna get you right. But you're not going to be in the lineup today. That I think is when to give a guy a day off. So again, I don't think that Buck Showalter is far off with his thought there. I don't think it's a load management problem like the NBA has though. And you watch the NBA more than us. You're a basketball fan.
That's why they corrected it. That's why they implemented the rule that you got to play 65 games in order to win an award.
Sure.
If you don't play, if you take more than that off, you won't be all NBA. You won't be in running for MVP or any of those things. So that defensive player of the year. No awards if you don't play at least 65 games, which I appreciate.
There you go. That's Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 at ESPN. What are the pros and cons of a coordinator stepping into a role of a head coach? I think this is a fascinating question because I think we often ask the wrong question when it comes to a hire in the NFL, especially when it comes to a coordinator. That's next on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. What are the pros and cons of a coordinator stepping into the role of a head coach? And I find this question to be fascinating, Carey, because I think, and I fall into this camp, and I have in the past for sure, because I've always been the guy that has said, if you're not hiring a play caller, an offensive play caller, you're gonna have issues when your OC gets plucked. When you fire the OC, it's different. Like, okay, it's fresh start, whatever.
Right.
But when Ben Johnson eventually leaves the Lions to become a head coach, Dan Campbell's going to have to make an important hire. So when you're hiring the CEO or you're hiring a defensive guy, you're hiring two now important positions. Mm-hmm. You're hiring the head coach, and you're also leaning on him to hire the right OC. And if that OC was great, you're going to lose him. Mm-hmm. So I've always been in the mindset of find the best offensive mind that calls his own plays, then the quarterback, and you're good. I've moved away from that, though, because I think that's too simplistic of a thought, Carey. And you're also going to miss out on guys like Mike Tomlin and Bill Belichick and, hopefully Raheem Morris. But it's about building a culture. That's what Dan Campbell did. Yes. Yeah, he got the Ben Johnson hire right. But he's building a culture in Detroit. A culture that has been so downtrodden because of the losses that the Lions just became, if not a punching bag, a joke, a punchline, but also irrelevant. Right. And Dan Campbell has changed that. I think it's about when you're finding a coordinator, if you're finding a head coach or your next head coach, can that person establish a culture that people want to invest in and belong to?
I don't think you necessarily have to be a good OC or DC. I think you have to be able to be good at communicating and managing people, whether that's your players, your coaching staff, all of the pieces around you that make a team good or bad, make a team functioning in the right way or dysfunctional. And so you see times where even if you are a very good OC, you might be a terrible head coach. Steve Spagnuolo is a dynamic defensive coordinator. He was not good as a head coach. Right. So it just depends on the person. And I think sometimes it's always important to know the type of person you're dealing with, because I've sat and talked to offensive coordinators. They can be weird. Yeah. Like they are interesting people. Not all of them are people you want running your whole team. Some of them just talk to the offense. Mm-hmm. They don't deal well with everyone else in other positions, and they really don't even deal with the other positions other than maybe the quarterbacks. They can't function outside of that comfort zone. So I think when you're hiring a coach, whether he's a DC or an OC background, a person that is good with people. I think Dan Campbell is a perfect example of a great hire as a head coach. I think Mike Vrabel, even though he doesn't have a job, is also a great example. When you have people, I'm trying to think of the coach for the Browns, Mangini.
Eric Mangini.
Not a great guy, not a great coach, but he was a good coordinator, right? Mm-hmm. You just have some people that don't do well. And the stories I heard about Mangini, you'd be like, oh, my God, this is crazy. But some people don't do well in that position. It's more about the person than the offense or defensive background, where they're coming from.
Randy Carricker has told these stories on air before, or talked about this on air before, but Scott Linehan, the former Rams head coach, same deal. Like a pretty good coordinator before he got to St. Louis. Yeah. Head coach, somebody that struggled looking in the eye when he's communicating. I mean, I don't know. I realize that, like, the quarterback a lot of times is the face of your franchise, right? But if it's not the QB, it's usually your head coach, or it should be. So what sort of message is your head coach not only giving the players, but also everybody in the building? Bill Walsh, there have been stories written about Bill Walsh that he used to go up to the secretary and say, hey, this is how we want the message to be delivered when somebody calls. Right. he wasn't trying to necessarily control every aspect of the organization, but he wanted everybody to be on the same page.
Right.
This is how the San Francisco 49ers do business.
Right.
This is what brand we are. This is how we do things. And it just permeated throughout the course of the building. And lo and behold, they had a lot of success, too.
It's amazing how that works.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when you have good leadership from top to bottom, you generally are going to be successful.
Right.
Or everyone, even if you don't have good enough players, you'll find a way to get better when leadership at the top is good. It's just finding, man, I think it's so hard to find the right leader. That's why you see guys every year with Black Monday, there are going to be a handful of coaches that are fired from the NFL because somebody 3 or 4 years ago thought that this was the right person and went through this process and said, oh, hell no, I won't do it another year.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to get it right. But it's also, I think there's a level of, when you're, especially professional coaching, when you're coaching professional athletes, there's a level of respect that is required in that room for other professional athletes that you will be coaching, a level of accountability from yourself and that you demand from your players. If you don't respect them and you're not accountable for your mistakes and holding them accountable for their mistakes, it'll never work.
Yeah.
You have to be a leader of men, and you have to be willing to fail and admit, you know what? Probably messed that one up. Mike McDaniel is probably a great example. When you watch those Hard Knock videos, now he's going to have to win some championship because that's going to get old soon. But he'll tell you know what, guys, that's my fault. Terrible play call by me. Not the right decision in that moment. As a player, nah, Coach, that's not your fault. I should have caught that pass.
Yeah.
Coach, you know what? Nah, it would have been okay if I made that block. Coach, you know what? Nah, he's wrong because I was supposed to check and then run my swing, and I took too long to get out. So, everyone now will say I'm accountable for what took place because the head took accountability.
Right.
If the head doesn't take accountability, no one else feels the need to. Oh, yeah, hell yeah. That ain't on my, that ain't my fault.
Right.
It's on you. What the hell kind of play call was that?
Right.
And then you start having dysfunction. So just finding those coaches that are accountable and respectful, that's usually when you have a winner.
That's a great call. That's Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Let's play Prove Me Wrong next. I always enjoy going to the Missouri Athletic Club when it comes to the, my Monday through Friday. Today, for example, I was only there for a short period of time, but I got my workout in, showered up, came into the station. But when it comes to the Missouri Athletic Club, there are so many different avenues that I appreciate about it, or aspects of that I love. Getting to know new club members, getting to know the employees. I talked to Paul, the head trainer at the West Clubhouse, about the Chiefs all the time. And you get to know a lot of new people, find out what they do, be a part of something bigger, and it's fun. I enjoy it. It's Missouri Athletic Club. It's my MAC.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals have made a trade today. They've traded Guillermo Zuniga to the Los Angeles Angels in exchange for cash considerations. The Blues, they're back in action this weekend. They'll take on the Buffalo Sabres on Saturday and the Montreal Canadiens on Sunday. Both of those games will have a pregame starting at 11 with the puck drop at noon. And, of course, you can listen right here on 101 ESPN. And then on Sunday after the Blues game, we'll have Super Bowl 58 for you as the Chiefs take on the 49ers. Coming up next, though, we have Prove Me Wrong. So if you have a Prove Me Wrong statement that you want to text in, do so at the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Prove Me Wrong coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Laundau, or is brought to you by Saliga, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Before we prove me wrong, Marsh.
That was bad.
You were fine.
I'm taking accountability here.
Okay, there you go, Mike McDaniel. I like that. Go
Leadership.
ahead.
There's a lot of people out there. Some may not like it, but there's a lot of people that can't wait for the Saliga Heating and Cooling Sports Center ad read.
Sure.
And I botched it.
Oh, it's fine.
Not too late.
Do you want to do it again?
No, it's fine. We'll do it one more time.
Okay. All right.
No, it's fine.
I mean, if you...
It already happened. The play is over. Can't go back.
On to the next play.
On to the next play.
The great ones, that's what they do.
All right. Okay. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. I still think you're fine there, Marsh. I thought you're solid, buddy.
I just have to be better.
I like the dedication, though.
I have to be better.
Sure.
Simple as that.
Yeah. All right. So what do we got for Prove Me Wrong? By the way, this is where you can send a statement in to the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646, in which Carey and I have to prove wrong. By the way, I was thinking, this is how stupid I am. Let me tell you, gather around, kids. Let me tell you how dumb I am. I was driving sometime last week. Do you remember when we had the Prove Me Wrong, where somebody texted in about managers or coaches and how they weren't? Marsh, you even said, you go, Anthony, I feel like this one's for you.
Oh, yes.
It was about the coaches not having an impact or managers not having an impact or whatever. And I went on this rant. At no point did I prove anything wrong. I was siding with the texter. I did not play. Now, none of you caught it either, which is good because it just launched into one of my rants. But I definitely was supposed to oppose that and say how managers and coaches have great value. And I went the other way.
You've been thinking about this for a while.
Well,
you shouldn't give him any ammunition to give you a buzzer. Because he might just buzz you now just because he didn't buzz you last time.
Well, actually, I think he buzzed me anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's going to be an L no matter what. But I was just, it's funny. I was thinking about that. I go, I definitely didn't prove that one wrong. Anyways, go ahead.
I didn't know how to do it when I first started either.
The great Dan McLaughlin struggled with it the first time, too. He kept trying to.
I was agreeing.
Yeah, he was agreeing.
Yeah, that's a hell of a statement. I agree with that. Oh, no.
Yes, you got it.
Wrong.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. From the 314, Prove Me Wrong. Nolan Arenado is not getting his championship with this Cardinals team. That's from Justin. Can you prove Justin wrong?
Why don't you go ahead and put them glasses on and prove Justin wrong there, Carey? I think you're up first.
Thanks. Justin, clearly.
There we go.
You have not been paying attention to the offseason. The offseason, we talked about getting not one, not two, but three starters. What did we do, Anthony?
You got not one, not two, but three.
We got three of them. Sonny Gray being the lead horse. He will lead us to the promised land. If you don't believe it, you heard it here first. Sonny Gray is going to be a top 5 in the Cy Young voting. You heard it here. He will be, Nolan Arenado will be back on the Gold Glove side of things. He will get another one. Silver Slugger, all of the wonderful, what did he finish a couple of years ago? Top 3? Not 1, not 2, not 3. But he will be number 1 this year. And this team, I said it, This season, Jordan Walker, hopefully batting in the 2-hole. Mason Wynn, he can be at bat number 8. You got your shortstop / second baseman / center fielder, Tommy Edman, who's going to do a fantastic. He's going to play all 3 of them. You don't even need to pay 3 guys for that role. He can do all 3 by himself. He's done it. He has done it already. So why would you say that they're not going? Marshy, I don't know why you're laughing. And he's going to get a championship, and it will be 22. Fangraphs 84.4, right?
Yeah, but tell them about PECOTA.
85.5.
Yeah.
For a team that lost 91 last year, we're on the rise. We're headed, trending upward. You want to buy stock, buy it in the St. Louis Cardinals right now. Buy it while it's low, because it's going to be on the rise. And the Cardinals, in my glasses, will be champions in the 2024 season.
You had me. And then you said 2024.
Sonny Gray.
He does pitch for you.
Kyle Gibson.
Oh, man. You know, if you would have been like, the Cardinals in 2027, they're going to build incrementally.
Be too old by then. He's going to
be on the roster.
Might not be here.
Can't take the ball. He's too old.
You said 24.
I think he's in a prime time to get an extension. Let's give him another one.
Definitely.
Do it.
Yeah.
I know he just had
in
one,
his career as a Cardinal.
Give him another one.
Maybe I should have said 26.
Carey,
it would have helped. It would have helped your cause for sure.
Carey, you were handed a case in which your client looked you right in the eye and said, "Yeah, I did it."
Now get me off.
Now go in the courtroom and you OJ this thing, okay?
Yeah. Get me out of here. I want to walk out.
Yep.
Free.
From the 314, prove me wrong. If the Chiefs win the turnover battle, then they win the Super Bowl.
Well, the turnover battle is certainly important. You know what also is important? Playing stellar defense. Kansas City's got a much better defense than San Francisco. Maybe the numbers don't necessarily bear it out across the board, although Kansas City's numbers defensively certainly outstanding. But you're going to need more than Nick Bosa. One of the best pass rushers in the game, sure. But you're going to need a little bit more than him and Fred Warner if you're going to slow down a man that has won multiple Super Bowls in Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, persons that catches the ball. Just past Jerry Rice.
That's a
for receptions. Yeah, Jerry Rice was a receiver. You're going to need a stellar defense. San Francisco has not played well defensively in the postseason. They just haven't. Yeah, they faced the Packers, who were hot. Yeah, they faced the Lions, who got a good offense. Both times, though, in San Francisco, I didn't see enough out of Wilkes' defense like we have all season long. I mean, from week 1, Steve Spagnuolo's defense has been outstanding. And you know he's going to come up with something to at least give Kyle Shanahan and that offense something to think about. So if they don't win the turnover battle, KC absolutely can still overcome that and win. And I think they're going to do so defensively.
Like it.
Now, if they're playing good defense.
Yeah, if they got that D.
Yeah, wouldn't that mean that maybe they're making plays to turn the ball over?
Look, not necessarily. That could be chaos, right? But they also tackle well, Your Honor. They also do a tremendous job of bowing up in the red zone. They make adjustments. They gave up the touchdown to Lamar in the first quarter last 2 weeks ago in the AFC title game. Then gave up a Justin Tucker field goal with 2 minutes left in the game. They make adjustments. They don't need to force a bunch of turnovers.
Are they going to get guys to the front of the end zone?
When they get guys in front of the end zone and they play that 200-foot game,
yeah,
you're going to see a Super Bowl champion.
I agree.
Technically, it's a 300-foot game.
Either way.
You know, Anthony, I like it.
Thank you.
From the 816, prove me wrong. Wilson Contreras is your number 2 catcher by the end of the year. Your new DH, and Herrera takes over.
Well, Your Honor, this statement is just maddening because your DH is clearly Nolan Gorman. And we had this conversation last year where Wilson's going to play the outfield. Wilson's going to be a DH. And then there's a phone call made, I'm sure, from one of the guys that writes the checks, probably has his name on the bottom of the check, and said, you know what, I signed this guy to be a catcher. And that's damn well what I expect him to be. He will be a catcher. Now, you will have some opportunities to get Herrera some at-bats, some games behind the plate, because no catcher that I know of can play all 162, Anthony. I think they all need a day off here and there, right? You need you get some opportunities for the other guys, but all in all, you said it yesterday, and I tend to agree with you, Mr. Stalter. Tend to agree with you that Wilson Contreras was probably your MVP. What did he play last year?
Catcher.
Now he will do it again this year. So I see no reason, Your Honor, for this man to be moved from his position. He's been a catcher. He will continue to be a catcher, and he will be your catcher of your 2024 World Series champion Cardinals.
Oh, boy. If I could play co-counsel here. If I could I was going to say they have 87.5 million reasons.
He doesn't need any more co-counsels.
Jeez.
You had me, Carey. I was locked in. I was like, you know, you're right.
You just had to do that last part.
2024.
Why?
And then I thought, man, this organization's had a little bit of a dysfunction here in the past 12 months. I want to be shocked.
They're on their way.
I want to be shocked if Herrera was the catcher at the end of the season, especially if they're in a playoff position.
Playoffs? I'm talking about playoffs.
Really? Playoffs?
Just trying to win a game.
Just trying to get a game.
Here's one from the 618. Prove me wrong. The Cardinals will have 8 different starting lineups in the first 10 days of the season, which will make me turn off the TV.
No, here's the thing on that one. If you look at this,
down?
in all seriousness, okay, you look at this roster, right? Let's just do this right now. Catcher, Wilson Contreras, as we've established. First base, Paul Goldschmidt. He's not going to change. Arenado, other side, not going to change. Mason Wynn, you're not going to bounce in and out of the lineup, especially not early. And then at second base, you will see some flexibility there. Mostly Brendan Donovan, but, you know, you'll see, of course, Nolan Gorman, too. Then in the outfield, the puppy's set.
Okay.
You've got Walker, or some combination left to right, Walker, Tommy Edman, and Lars Nootbaar.
Gotcha.
Dylan Carlson, right now, is their fourth outfielder. I don't see the need to get guys like Alec Burleson's bat in the lineup early in the season. Dylan Carlson's bat in the lineup early. Matt Carpenter, I think, just he serves as your best clubhouse leader, helping in that vein. I think is why you signed him. Everything else is pretty set. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of different lineup combinations early on.
Oh boy.
Sound good.
Yeah, sure. 7, maybe 8. That's too much.
I feel like I just won on a technicality.
You won. That's all that matters.
That's true.
You want to do one more?
Let's do one more.
Okay. From the 661.
Got time for one more.
Prove me wrong. The Super Bowl is the best sports championship game in the world.
Your Honor, the law firm of Davis and Stalter would like to settle.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We just can't. You can't.
We would like to settle and not see this one go to trial.
Yeah, I don't know what the legal
look. Of course, it's the
words.
Of course, it's the World Cup. World Cup. We're not just talking about world champions. Okay, they're not world champions.
They are not.
They're the United States of America, best country in the world.
Indeed,
champions. Okay, World Cup means of the world.
Clearly,
it is the most watched spectacle in ever, Bob. It is the thing that everybody tunes in. The match with the players and the boots and the soccer and the fields and the big ass nets can only score a couple of times on. That is a real sport watched by real sports fans. Okay? It's the World Cup. That's the thing. It's the title that everybody wants to see every 4 years or whatever it is.
Anthony, I knew you were a soccer fan because you knew that the World Cup produces 5 billion viewers compared to the Super Bowl, which is only in the millions.
Yeah.
I knew you knew that. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good job.
That was an easy one.
Oh, yeah.
I feel good about that. I really do. Okay, moving on. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. What do we make of the new streaming idea involving Fox, ESPN, and Warner Brothers? This is interesting. We'll get into it next on 101 ESPN. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So Front Office Sports had this earlier. News. Fox, ESPN, and Warner Brothers. Discovery and Warner Brothers Discovery are teaming up to create a joint streaming platform to share sports assets, according to multiple reports. The service will be available to ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Max subscribers, and is expected to launch later this year. So if you have, I'm assuming you can purchase all of them and bundle them, just like you would if, for example, like we have Disney Plus, because the kids obviously are always watching Disney Plus. Disney Plus also comes with, I don't know, ESPN or Hulu, or maybe Hulu comes with ESPN, something like that. But you bundle them together, a little bit of savings for you. Bingo, bango, bongo. Bob's your uncle, and you get everything. I don't hate it.
Here's the thing.
You'd hate it.
I just don't. How many apps do I need? Because part of the reason for all of these apps was to cut the cord on cable to save money.
Oh, yeah.
But if I got 15 apps paying $15 a month for each app, am I saving money?
You're not saving a damn thing.
I'm spending more.
Carey.
Why can't I just get all of my shows, sports, things that I enjoy watching in one spot? Why do I have to download Peacock to watch the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs play a football game? Why do I have to have all of these apps? Maybe I never, many moons ago, we like moons here. I didn't think that I would become the old man talking about back in my day. I didn't think that would be me at one point, but I'm here and I'm embracing it. Why do we have what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Carey, what you just described is what we used to have, which is called satellite or cable. One place.
What happened?
You're sick of paying what you're paying, so you cut the cable, you cut the cord.
And then the other people decided, we can charge them for this and we can charge them for that. And here's another $7.99. Oh, you like Netflix? Let me charge you $18 and you can't add anybody else onto it.
Hey. Carey.
What the hell are we doing?
Carey, I'm going to give you a similar speech as the one you gave me yesterday when I was saying, hey, why can't Major League Baseball step in and do X, Y, and Z for the fans? And you looked at me and you're like, owners can make money. It's America. These companies can make money. I do laugh, though. I do. Because when people started to cut the cord, there was almost this air of supremacy.
Yeah, I don't have cable.
I cut the cord.
Yeah. I just
saved a whole bunch
apps.
of money. Yeah. Now I just have one thing. It's what I want to watch. I was laughing back then. Like, do you think these multi-billion-dollar companies are not going to figure out how to charge you
for everything
and get your money? Do you think they're going to sit on? Well, they got us. What are we going to do? They're paid. You've got people making who knows an ungodly amount of money to figure out how to get inside of your dome, so they can market to you and advertise to you and sell to you. We are up against it. We're going to lose. Let's just stop watching sports.
There you go.
I'm going to cut all my streaming services.
Yeah, I don't.
You're
how?
Not. You're not.
How?
And then more things they bundle, and you're like, I get these 3 things now. This is a deal.
I got channels I don't even watch. I don't.
Exactly.
I don't have time to watch HBO and Showtime.
Sometimes I sit there watching, like, just scrolling through Netflix. I'm like, it looks pretty good.
I haven't sat down and watched
45 minutes later, I'm still scrolling.
Nothing that you want to see on there.
Maybe.
Just very rare. This is. I don't know, man. Something has got to give.
Well, some of these streaming services, the shows on there, they're some of them aren't good, right? Like, look at. I'm not going to name which one, but some will just have the premiere show,
and that's it.
And that's it. But that's what. But it's a really good show. And so you're like, well, I want to watch this show. So then you end up buying it.
Yeah.
And you're
like Ted Lasso.
Sure. Yes.
Just for an example. For example.
They have Severance. Severance is a good show.
That is. Did they ever come out with the second season?
I think it might be coming out soon.
Okay.
I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah, no, but
That's a good example.
I kind of smelled what you were. I stepped in what you were smelling there.
Or Yellowstone.
Yellowstone's a good show. It might not be.
Or there's 10 million spin-off shows they have.
Just putting them all in one place, you have to download Hulu, Netflix, Peacock, Apple TV, and Disney, and ESPN Plus. But if you get then you get it at HBO. Hey, man, I would just like to turn on one. I don't want to have to go to 14 apps. Just give me my cords back.
Fine, I'll put the cords back up.
Just give me my cord.
Yeah.
And then another 10 years, be like, I can't stand these cords. They got me again.
You just go through this cycle. It's called life. All right, it's Fastlane. We got a returning Gauntlet member.
Oh, yeah, Glenn.
Because Glenn and Carey, that was a challenging, random session yesterday. All right, we'll see what Glenn gets, and we'll see who Glenn chooses between Marsh and me next in the Gauntlet on 101 ESPN. If you are a homeowner or you're somebody that even rehabs condos and houses and things like that, you probably have experienced this at one point or another. You run into a contractor situation where they leave you high and dry, or it's a situation where you think you're paying for one thing and you're saving all this money, and all of a sudden it's not what you paid for, what you wanted, and it's a frustrating process. With Mosby, you're only going to work with the best. Mosby, quality of work, quality people. They do tremendous jobs. I was just down in Mosby today, in fact, and I was looking around at their office, and they've got multiple locations, but the one I went to housed their entire team. They've got electricians on their staff. They have, carpenters on their staff. They have architects on their staff. Everything is right there within Mosby. And they do a tremendous job too. If you have a project, so if I have a bathroom project that I want to start, and I hire Mosby, what Mosby's going to do is not only sit there and design the bathroom or the kitchen or the basement that I want, but they're also going to make sure that they get all the materials in. They hold everything right there in their warehouse until everything comes in, then start your project. You ever have a situation where it's like, oh, well, your countertops are going to be 6 weeks out, and all of a sudden you're living in your basement because your kitchen isn't done, and it should have been done months ago. Mosby's the best. They're fantastic. Go with the best. You're not going to regret it. It's Mosby.
4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit mastor.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. And we got Glenn back for round 2 of the Gauntlet after he beat CD yesterday in random. What's up, Glenn?
Nothing much. Good. Guys, how you doing?
We're doing great. Did you celebrate the victory last night?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Good.
Real early. Slept really good.
Nice.
Feeling fresh.
You had a nice meal before. Not too heavy. Not too close to the Gauntlet. Okay, good. Yeah. Glenn, I feel like you're locked in already. So would you like Marsh or me today in round 2?
We're going to go with Marsh of the Beautiful Flow.
Nice.
Wow.
Thank you.
I like that. Okay. So Marsh, after Glenn tells you to spin that wheel, you get in that cone of silence. But Glenn, you have the honors here.
All right, Mr. Marsh, let's spin that wheel, please.
All right, Glenn, I can't remember what you said yesterday to this question. What are you hoping for?
Today I'm actually hoping for baseball. But like I said yesterday, kind of whatever I throw to the wall and it sticks. Which is why we ended up with the score we had yesterday.
Well, that's right, and that's why you also said that you didn't mind random. I can't see the wheel from where I'm at.
Well, Glenn, it's not baseball. I wish I'd have had it yesterday. It's football.
Football.
Yeah.
You feel okay about this?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Glenn, you won 2-1 yesterday, man. You don't care what it is. You don't care what the challenge is.
That's right.
There you go. Okay. All right, here you go. Question number 1. Sunday afternoon, evening, at 5:30 p.m. on 101 ESPN. I like how Bradford's been writing these. Mm-hmm. You see that?
Yep.
He's promoting something that we have coming up. I mean, come on. Bradford.
Good job.
He knows what he's doing. The Chiefs and 49ers square off in Super Bowl 58. Name Kansas City's all-time leading rusher with 7,260 yards. Who's Kansas City's all-time leading rusher?
Options, please.
Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, or Christian Okoye, the Nigerian night train. Or is it Nightmare? Nightmare. Yeah. So Charles, Holmes, or Okoye?
Let's go with Charles. Final answer.
Charles. Final answer.
All right. The highest scoring, number 2, the highest scoring Super Bowl in NFL history took place on January 29th, 1995 between San Diego and San Francisco. How many touchdown passes did Steve Young throw that day?
Highest scoring, shooting from the hip, let's go with 5.
All right.
Final answer.
Question number 3, Glenn. On the college pigskin side, who led the nation in receiving yards in 2023? So who led the nation in receiving yards last college football season?
Options, please.
Was it Rome Adunze from Washington, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Malik Neighbors?
Let's go with Marvin Harrison Jr. Final answer.
Okay.
Final question. Where do the Buffalo Bills play their home games?
Whoa, I know this one. It's in there. I watched a lot of news about the snow removal. Options, please.
Is it First Energy Stadium, Empower Field, or Highmark Stadium?
Well, none of those look familiar, so let's go with what was not First Energy, not Highmark. Let's go with the middle one.
Empower?
Empower. Final answer.
All right. We'll bring back Marsh from the Cone of Silence. Glenn, how you feeling?
Oh, excellent. Perfect.
Well, if I remember correctly, you were like, yesterday, and it wound up working out okay. Marsh is making his way into the studio right now, chatting with the one and only Mike Ryder, I'm sure. in the cone of silence. And I'm done vamping.
I'm back. Did you guys see the unveiling?
No.
Yes.
You
So
saw
Jamie Rivers
I didn't.
has officially released his latest Speedo.
What did I tell you? It would be on Wednesday.
You did.
Yep.
You did. I wonder if you inspired him with that whole,
I might have.
whole hump day thing. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking real good.
We won't spoil it. I'm sure he'll post it at some point.
Yep. But Jamie. Okay, Marsh. let's get focused here. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Your category today against Glenn is football.
All right, let's do it.
Question number 1, Sunday afternoon or evening at 5:30 p.m. on 101 ESPN. The Chiefs and 49ers square off in Super Bowl 58. Name Kansas City's all-time leading rusher with 7,260 yards.
All right, I don't know what that has to do with the Super Bowl, but let's get those options.
Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, or Christian, the Nigerian Nightmare Okoye. Charles Holmes Okoye.
Let's go with Jamal Charles. Final answer.
All right, Marsh. Question number 2. The highest scoring Super Bowl in NFL history took place on January 9th, 1995, between San Diego and San Francisco. How many touchdown passes did Steve Young throw that day?
6. Final answer.
All right, question number 3. On the college pigskin side, who led the nation in receiving yards in 2023?
Receiving yards. Is it Marvin Harrison Jr.? Or is it somebody else? Because I think Bailey Zappi one year in Western Kentucky led the league in passing yards, and that definitely was not on my bingo card. Let's use the options.
Rome Odunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Malik Neighbors?
Let's go with Odunze. Final answer. Kyle McCord, I don't think he was just chucking the ball up all season long to Marvin Harrison Jr. just running all over the field. I mean, maybe they were, but I don't think he's that great of a quarterback.
Man, transferred.
Yeah, he did. All right, next question.
Question number 4. Where do the Buffalo Bills play their home games?
Oh, man. I was going to say Ralph Wilson Stadium. I don't think that's what it's called anymore. Let's use the options.
Is it First Energy Stadium, Empower Field, or Highmark Stadium?
Let's go Highmark Stadium. Final answer.
All right. Let's go over these. Glenn versus Marsh, round 2 of the Gauntlet for Glenn. Sunday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. on 101 ESPN. The Chiefs and 49ers square off in Super Bowl 58. Name Kansas City's all-time leading rusher with 7,260 yards. Glenn, you said Jamal Charles. Marsh, you said Jamal Charles. Correct answer is
Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles, but both of you needed the options. Nice job, guys. We have a 1-1 tie. Where do the Buffalo Bills play their home games? Glenn, you said Empower Fields. Marsh, you said Highmark Stadium. Correct answer is
Highmark Stadium.
That's correct. Marsh has a 2-1 lead. On the college pigskin side, who led the nation in receiving yards in 2023? Glenn, you went with Marvin Harrison Jr. Marsh, you went with Rome Odunze of Washington. Correct answer is?
It is Rome Odunze.
There you go. So Marsh with 3 points. Glenn with 1 point. It comes down to this. Did you get so excited your headphones fell apart?
I had to work through that question.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice job.
Man, I just remember Carey
You lost one whole year there.
I did. Yeah, it fell off.
Comes down to this. The highest scoring Super Bowl in NFL history took place on January 29th, 1995. That game was played between the 49ers and the San Diego Chargers. The Chargers finished 3rd that day. How many touchdown passes did Steve Young throw in that game? Neither of you use the options, which comes into play here. Marsh, you said 6. Glenn, you said 5. If it's 6, Marsh wins in a blowout. If it's 5, then Glenn forces a walk-off. If it's any other number besides 5 or 6, Marsh is going to win. So, Carey, how many touchdown passes did Steve Young throw for in that Super Bowl?
Steve Young threw for 6 touchdowns.
Oh,
Glenn.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Glenn, it wound up being kind of a spanking. It was 5-1. You didn't feel good about this one, and unfortunately, your instincts were correct. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, that's all right. Like I said, I had a strategy of throwing things, and what stuck.
There you go. There you go.
Marsh, I'm a food service director, and the guys forgot to tell you to pack a lunch, so I packed one for you. Enjoy. Beautiful steak sandwich, some nice crisp fries, a little bit of sauteed green beans. You're good to go, bud.
Oh, that sounds unbelievable.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Man. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for listening. Thanks for
Appreciate it,
playing.
Glenn. Good job.
Have a great one, guys.
You too. Thank
Thanks.
you. We did. We forgot to tell him to pack a lunch. I feel like we've done that a couple times lately. We're slipping.
I mean, that could have changed the whole
dynamic.
outcome.
Yeah, you could have been nervous.
I could have been.
Your ear fell off. I mean, this the whole
He
thing.
played through that, though. He worked through it.
The bright lights could have been too
you're
much.
too bright.
I
Yeah.
stayed consistent.
You could have Detroit Lions this thing.
Oh,
could have.
But you
Man,
didn't.
that would have been bad.
You San Francisco 49er did.
Yeah, I just got
Way
the
to go.
points, Anthony.
Yeah, you did. You're darn right you did. Do the best teams in baseball have the right balance of analytics and gut feel? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. Do the best teams in baseball have the right balance of analytics and gut feel? Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, it's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Before we give you our thoughts on that, here's Buck Showalter. We played this audio. We played a similar audio from Foul Territory, the podcast, earlier today. Well, here's Buck Showalter's response on analytics.
No, I don't think you ever get into that mode of operation as a manager. You're receptive. These things they're doing, AJ, we were doing back in the early 90s as far as positioning, and I can show you some shifts. Heck, they were shifting on Ted Williams, but now we got so much more information. Your door's not open, it's cracked. Come on in here, bring everything you got. I'm receptive. Adam remembers we used to do analytics, sabermetrics for dummies in spring in Baltimore to make sure we made people unafraid of it, understand what it told us, what it didn't tell us, keep in mind the heartbeat of a game. But, they present a lot of things to you, but sometimes it's a lot different in the dugout than in the 8th and 9th inning when you know what's going on mentally with a guy, emotionally with a guy. You know things that are going on and off the field. There's so many factors that figure into it. So the best guys that I've dealt with are receptive to the other part of it. They bring something I can't bring, but the coaching staff brings something that they can't bring just from your experiences. So the best organizations like Texas, I think you saw a great example. Their general manager went to an Ivy League school, but he played the game.
Carey, I know you have strong feelings on analytics. What did you make of Buck Showalter's thoughts on it?
I think it's similar to what you heard Ollie say a couple of weeks ago or last week. Just, those are part of the information that you receive. But at the end of the day, it's on the manager to make in-game live decisions. And so it's not simply a sheet of paper saying, well, the statistics or the numbers say this is what you should do in this moment. It's about, well, how does this guy feel? How is he mentally? Is he in a space where he can make this play, or he can do the things that we need him to do to have that outcome that the sheet is telling us? I think it's all about really trusting your players as a manager and a coach, trusting your gut that the player that you have in that moment is going to do it, and going and using those numbers to aid and assist, not simply saying, okay, bottom of the 8th, this guy's pitching, it's a 2-1 count, we got to do X, Y, and Z. No, we understand that that's a person, and we're going to have to do what is best in the moment for the team.
Yeah, I thought his response to it, I thought was great. That is what we all want, I think, out of a manager, and I think that most managers are like that. I think we often think of the extreme cases. Certainly the one with Blake Snell, involving Blake Snell and the Rays when they made the COVID World Series against the Dodgers, and their manager, Kevin Cash at the time, decided to pull him. And even Ollie, too, when we're talking about Jose Quintana a couple of years ago in round 1 against the Phillies. It's just analytics. I think we use the term analytics and we blanket over everything and say analytics are good or bad. They're neither. It's information.
They're both.
Well, it's information, right? Yeah. Like if I give you this sheet of paper, Carey, and I say, here's this information. This is neither good nor bad. This is just information. How you interpret it,
correct,
can be used either in a helpful manner or, in some cases, in this case, analytics in baseball, would be bad.
Now, if you're giving me that sheet of paper and say, this is what you're going to do in this situation,
that's right.
Bad.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
Right.
That's not, you're limiting what I can do and what this person can do.
Right.
But if you're saying, hey, here's the sheet of paper, this is, we use analytics in football. I told you the perfect example I can give you is last season. The Chiefs down on the goal line called the same play twice. Why? Because someone somewhere noticed that the Eagles were probably going to be in man-to-man in this range close to the goal line. If you're 5 and in, they're going to be 95% man-to-man. Well, we're going to run a man beater, and we're going to run the same play and get Sky Moore a touchdown. And who was the other one that scored? I can't remember.
Kadarius Toney.
Was it Kadarius? Did he catch a pass? Was it Kadarius Toney?
I'm pretty sure it was Kadarius Toney.
I wanted to say him, but I wasn't sure that he actually caught a pass. But yeah, Kadarius Toney a touchdown.
Ago. It
was a year,
better
not
hands.
Passes.
Yeah.
But that's why those are analytical. That's analytical data that tells you in this area of the field, they are 90% man-to-man. We should run this play or this type of play. That's fine. It's on the players to now. 10% of the time, if it's 90, 10% of the time they're going to be in zone. If you get caught in the zone in a cover 2 corner flat and he's sitting there and he picks it off and takes it 99 yards, the analytics told us.
Right.
But that's part of the game. That's part of it. It's just understanding what could happen, not what will happen, and then making the adjustments accordingly.
Well, I think, to your point, and then to what Buck Showalter said too, here, Coach, this is how it should work. Because here's the thing, if you are anti-analytics, and there's a lot of you out there that just, it's ruined the game of baseball. I don't disagree that it has ruined a part of your viewing experience. I hate watching a football game and the thing pops up, analytics say go. When do they not say go? When you're backed up on your one and it's fourth down, then analytics say punt.
Yeah.
I hate that. There's no explanation. They don't talk about what time of the game it is, how many possessions are likely, what the score is. I mean, possessions in a football game mean everything.
Yeah.
Why aren't you giving me? It's about information. Analytics say go. When you're a baseball fan, this stuff is jammed down your throat constantly because teams use analytics. So I don't doubt that your experience is ruined to some degree watching baseball right now because of analytics. However, you got to understand that every team uses it. Yes. And if it's an old, quote-unquote, old-school manager like Bruce Bochy or a young manager who you don't like because you think he's all analytical driven, they all use it.
Right.
It's up to the manager, to Buck Showalter's point, in the 7th inning or 8th inning, to use that information how he chooses to use it. That's the key. You said something earlier about the decision-making process. That's all this is about. If you remove the decision from my hands as a manager, then yes, analytics are not serving its purpose.
Right.
If I have a better opportunity to make a smarter decision with the information combined with my experience and instincts and my knowledge of my own team, analytics, I think, are just as they should.
It gives you an idea of what could take place. But it doesn't give you the final answer because, again, analytically, things are expected goals. That's analytics, correct?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to score that many goals. You might score that many. You might score less. You might score more. It's not It's not a perfect science. But when you put so much stock into it, I think when I talk about analytics, I'm talking about like the launch angle and the degrees that you're hitting the ball. And if you're not hitting it at this degree or hitting it with this exit velo, you're not going to have success. I don't think that matters.
Yeah.
I think it's about hitting the ball cleanly, hitting the ball where they ain't, and driving the ball, and then eventually some of those balls go out of the park. I think that's what matters. But if you're talking about solely analytics and saying, okay, third time around, this pitcher can't pitch against this lineup, he's only given up one hit today, and he's thrown 68 pitches.
Right.
Why the hell would he not?
Right.
That, to me, is maddening when you decide that based on what the numbers tell you, no, this player is having a game of games. Leave him the hell alone.
Can I counter that one or at least ask you? And I know what your response is going to be because I know you, but I think that other people, if they were really honest, would answer another way. What if in that same scenario that you just threw out, can you throw that out again?
One hit, 68 pitches, and you're in the 6th inning.
Right. Typically, they don't remove those guys, right? But let's just say,
let's say it's 78 pitches,
and you faced the lineup twice already. Yeah. Okay, let's lay that out there.
Yeah.
And it's a 1-0 game.
Correct.
You have a 1-0 lead. If that same pitcher is left in, and you have the information that says the opponent hits 800, and I'm exaggerating. Right. That opponent hit 800 off this guy when he has to face a lineup for a third time. He gives up a 2-run shot, you lose. And the analytics were right there for you. What's your response?
I trusted my gut and I trusted my guy.
That's what your response is, and that's what I was figuring was going to be. And that, by the way, is, okay, perfect, good. Yeah. I'm good with that. Yeah, I don't care what the sheet says. The guy was rolling. I've got 2 eyes. He made a bad pitch, gave up he made 2 bad pitches. One was a single, one was a home run.
Correct.
Unfortunate, guy pitched his ass off, though.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
But I think if a lot of fans are being honest, they cherry pick when they like analytics.
Right.
It's like, why would this manager? If they don't like the manager, Why would he do
leave
that?
him in there?
You know they hit 800 off him in the. Let's just be real about what we do and don't like about the analytics.
Well, and if you're making a decision on the couch, right, and you're like, well, I wouldn't.
Which you don't do until you see what happens.
Yes, you don't make that call until it happens, unless, okay, for instance, we're talking about, making decisions and whatnot. When the Lions were playing the 49ers, before that even happened, I don't know if you said this, or I'm sure a lot of people did. I know I did. Why are they going for it? I don't like this move. Just get the points. And we were even texting about it. Yeah. So that is a thing right there. But when it comes to baseball, you're not like, well, I would have put in this guy. But if they get out of the inning, you're not saying to yourself, well, good thing I'm not the manager, right? You're only saying
it's based
that
off of the results.
Yes,
exactly.
100%. Spot on. It's based on what took place. If it worked out well, hell of a decision. If it didn't, what the hell are you doing? The analytics tell you shouldn't have pitched him there.
Bingo.
And you could probably say the same thing with Jose Quintana. I mean, that situation. Although I think he should have stayed.
He probably should have, but you lost because Ryan Helsley blew up in the ninth.
So in that case, the analytics probably said he needs to come out in this moment.
Sure, they probably did.
And you take him out, and you lose the game. So it is based on...
Why did you lose? Why did you win the game? Why did you lose the game? Why did you lose that one, though?
You lost the game because you didn't score enough runs.
Bingo. You had Juan Yepes home run.
Oh, that was so awesome.
In that case, you could look and the analytics say, bring in the guy who throws over 100 miles per hour, right? Bring him in. He's been our guy all season. But the analytics don't tell you that he had a sore finger from...
I don't think he told anyone either, if we're being honest. I don't think he did.
Either way.
You should know.
So it does go both ways.
Paul Goldschmidt, there was a couple of tough plays, too. Paul Goldschmidt could have made one. Arenado could have made one. I've seen both made.
Yeah. Tommy Edman.
Yep. Tommy Edman had the one go under his glove, right? That was the second base. That was the play at second base.
That's why he's playing center field now.
Oh, you wanted him playing everywhere.
All right, we got to get to Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider. We'll talk a little Blues soccer with him next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Your St. Louis Blues will be back in action on Saturday, taking on the Buffalo Sabres with the pregame starting at 11, puck drop at 12 right here on 101 ESPN. We're going to talk about the Blues with our guy from The Athletic, our insider, Jeremy Rutherford. JR's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
News, notes, and nuggets. It's time for the Rutherford Report with our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. The Blues are off until Saturday when they take on the Buffalo Buffaloes. No better time to talk to somebody ahead of the Buffalo game than our guy, Jeremy Rutherford, who joins us right now via the 101 ESPN Celebrity Line. What's up, JR?
That will never get old. That's awesome. Yeah, and I will be in Buffalo to watch the Blues play the Buffalo.
There you go. Excellent.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just saying, Carey, if you don't know the reference, Dunk at one point, we had JR on back in the day. I mean, this is what, JR, 6 years ago? 7 years ago? I mean, it's been a while. We were interviewing JR, and Dunk was setting up a question. He goes, so what do the Blues need to do tonight against the Buffaloes? And JR, because he's a true pro, everybody knew he meant Sabres. And JR, being a true pro, he was answering the question, and Dunk, and I could see Dunk up on the screen.
Yeah.
Dunk, I saw his face. He goes, I just called them the Buffaloes, didn't I? Buffaloes. And he paused. He goes, JR, send me that book, man, because JR was on to also promote one of his books. And anyways, Dunk, we miss him. Yeah.
I like it.
Anthony, it's one of those things. I can tell you a couple things in my life where I was. I can tell you when the space shuttle blew up, and I can tell you where I was standing when Dunk said that. So those two things.
I love that. People have asked me to tell that story, and it's really not a dynamic. We've got funnier Dunk stories, but it's one of those that just tugs at my heartstrings because you could tell Dunk realized right away what he did, and instead of being embarrassed about it or whatever, he gave himself, as Dunk used to do, just a self-deprecating joke and he laughed at himself and he kept the feet moving. So, anyways.
I can see the confusion.
Yeah.
Don't they have a buffalo in the logo?
Yeah, they should be the Buffalo Buffaloes. Let's be honest.
What are we talking about
Dunk
here?
was on to something.
Yep. Got to figure it out.
Come on, don't ruin the story. Don't ruin the story.
Yeah, there you go. Love you, Dunk. Think about you every day, my man. All right, JR, Winter Classic. Let's start there. So 2025, the Blackhawks and the Blues will get it on at Wrigley Fields for the Winter Classic. What are your thoughts?
How about that? I guess I have my New Year's Eve plans made for next year. That'll be fun to be at Wrigley Field. I've been there for a few Cardinal games, obviously, but to be there for a hockey game. I know they've done it in the past. The Hawks hosted a Winter Classic there, but this time it'll be the Blues, so it'll be a rematch of that 2017 Winter Classic that was, of course, at Busch Stadium. And, it's the Connor Bedard effect. Everybody wants to see Connor, and the ratings were, I think, down this year with the Seattle-Vegas game. And obviously, I think there'll be more people tuning in to see Connor Bedard. And as far as the Blues being an opponent, I think this just speaks volumes to where this franchise is in the eye of the league. They've come to St. Louis for the All-Star game. Of course, they had that Winter Classic I just mentioned, and a lot of other things have happened here in St. Louis, the draft. So I think that the league is rewarding St. Louis for all the hard work they've done here.
JR, most teams are already back playing and getting rolling. Is there any disadvantage to the Blues having to wait so long to get back rolling?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they probably needed the break, and they did have some bodies that were banged up, Justin Falk, Kasperi Kapanen, and they're going to be back on the ice tomorrow at 2 p.m. out at Centene, so that'll be the first practice. We'll see who's on the ice and ready for that game against the Buffaloes on Saturday. And by the way, I got to sneak this in there. A lot of times I write about these players who go through these excruciating injuries, the shoulders, the knees, and it's amazing to me, Carey, how you did it and how the rest of these guys do it. And I just went out to the mailbox and grabbed some of the mail. And, guys, I'm from that generation where whenever it's like a credit card application, I rip it up before I throw it away because I just don't want anybody to have all that.
You couldn't rip it up.
I tried to, and I cut my finger. I got a paper cut that I might be on the injury list here with the upper body some Saturday. Pretty good little cut here. So, but yeah.
We should have played the breaking news sounder, JR. You should have given us a heads up on that.
I got to do a story at the Athletic on my own injury, but we'll see who's back on the ice. And then, yeah, it's been a 10-day break. I think it was probably good for the Blues, especially after that loss to Columbus, try to shake that off. And Drew Bannister said it would stick with him for a few days, so we'll see what the team has to say tomorrow when we get out to Centene.
JR, you have a piece, and we're talking to Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic. You have a piece at The Athletic out on Jimmy Snuggerud, and you sat down with him. He's excited about playing in the NHL, and that seems to be kind of the cusp of your, or the key point that you want to make throughout the story, but he's also focused on the task at hand. What stood out to you with talking to Snuggerud about this piece?
Yeah, I think that, first of all, I think it's all about developing relationships with these guys. I mean, if you want to, John Davidson said to me one time, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint when you're creating relationships with these players. And so I really took that advice to heart years ago. And, you can get Jimmy Snuggerud on the phone and say, so what are you going to do? Are you coming to St. Louis this year? I didn't do that. And you try to tell him, hey, listen, I know it's going to be a tough decision, and you'll make it when you make it. I know St. Louis Blues fans are excited about seeing you when you do get here. He touched on the decision in the article. He said that time will come at the end of the year. But, guys, with the Minnesota Golden Gophers, they've got 6 regular season games left on their schedule. Then there's actually a few weeks off before they start regionals, and then if they advance any further, the Frozen Four isn't until April. So, if and when you do see Jimmy Snuggerud in a Blues uniform, it would mean that he's made the decision to turn pro and that the Blues have decided to put him on the roster and burn a year of his 3-year entry-level contract. So Jimmy had lots to say, and we also heard from his Minnesota teammate Matthew Knives, who is playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs now, who thinks that Jimmy Snuggerud is ready to turn pro.
JR, when you're looking at this young group of players, the ones that are here now and the ones that should be here soon, Dean, Bolduc, Snuggerud, Dvorsky, what are your expectations for the future of the Blues?
Dominance.
Well, yeah, I think that the future is bright. I really do. It's just what I've learned over the past 19 years covering the team is that it just takes a while. Like, Carey, you know this. I mean, you can watch NCAA football on Saturday and know that guy's going to be playing starting cornerback for the Washington Redskins next year, and it just doesn't happen like that in hockey. I mean, even the best of the best. Look at Dvorsky. He's 10th overall, and he's going to be a couple, 2-3 years before he can get in the lineup and make an impact. So, I think what we saw at the World Juniors with the 7 players, who combined for 22 goals, 44 points. It was the most prospects of any NHL team at the World Junior Championships. They produced the most points. I mean, how can you not be in love with what you see there? It's just going to take each guy a different timetable to come over, and then once he does get here, be able to make an impact. And by that time, what does the team look like? What else has Doug Armstrong done? There's just a lot of moving parts.
Jared, I saw that Vladimir Tarasenko hired another manager, another agent. What's going on there?
Yeah, and I think he hired 2 more agents since you read that a couple hours ago.
Oh, man.
I mean, this is, he's moved on from J.P. Barry, and now he's on to Craig Oster. So this is his 4th agent, and I looked this up, since 2021. And I think the situation is here. He bet on himself to have a good year with Ottawa, a 1-year deal with the Senators this year. The team has not been good. It fired its coach. And then personally, it's been a tough year for Tarasenko in terms of production and also getting the ice time. So as you get towards the deadline, he probably envisioned himself being an attraction, and he gets moved and he goes to a good team. And then this offseason, he signs perhaps a bigger deal, and it's just not working out. And so I believe that Vladimir Tarasenko's expectations are a lot different than what the rest of the league perceives him as. And I think when you hear those words from your agent, that's why you move on to the next one. And then, as a famous couple rappers have said, on to the next one, on to the next.
Well, nice, JR. I don't know why you're covering the Blues when you should be winning Grammys. Hey, the hockey stuff, your burgeoning rap career and the hockey stuff aside, the real reason we wanted to have you on today is to talk about Super Bowl 58. Who do you got?
All right. I got to go Chiefs. I went to Arrowhead last year with my brother and my nephew and my son, and it was a blast. I actually won't be in town with the friends. I love Super Bowl Sunday. I love, obviously, eating. But I will be in Toronto. And, guys, can I get a little sympathy here? I might be at, like, a sports bar by myself on Sunday.
Oh, man. Really?
Watching this game. So, well, there'll be some beer and I'm sure some nachos, so I won't be.
So you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Well, good. JR, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the Buffaloes trip and enjoy the Super Bowl as well, my man.
Will do. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
All right, sounds good. That's Jeremy Rutherford here in the Fast Line on 101 at ESPN. We have your chance to win a pair of single-session passes to the 2024 State Farm Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament. It's the return of Arch Madness at the annual MVC tournament March 7th through the 10th at Enterprise Center. All session and single-session tickets are now on sale, and you can learn about more about the MVC tournament and register to win tickets at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. But you can also text in to the Air Comfort Service text line to score passes to Arch Madness now with the trivia by answering this trivia question and being the 101st texter to 314-399-9646. Here's your trivia question. Not even trivia, it's just show trivia, I guess. We were talking earlier in I think it was What's Trending. Brock Purdy was asked about his likeness to who? So he was asked a question. Hey, you look. What do you think? People are saying you look like. Who are people saying who he looks like? Brock Purdy. So if you have that answer, you can text in right now 314-399-9646, and you can win those Arch Madness tickets. Why don't we get to the? Let's do the Sports Six Pack. Let's do that next. No Sports Six Pack.
People texting in.
Oh, that's right. I haven't done that in a while to you, Marsh.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult.
It's the worst time to do a contest and then do the Sports Six.
So many names come
Makes
in.
no damn sense.
You can't find any questions.
Yeah, no kidding. Hard Knocks. Let's do that. So Hard Knocks, we love Hard Knocks when it comes to football. Baseball is going to do Netflix is going to do its own kind of Hard Knocks documentary style on the Boston Red Sox. When these sorts of documentaries come out, who hits the mark, who misses the mark, and why? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you are in the market for new windows, well, let me tell you about my good friends over at Window Nation. If those energy bills are getting at an all-time high, it's been a little cold, sometimes it's hot, you need to replace those windows. It can help, and with 50% off of all styles of windows, Window Nation will allow you to pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Now is the time to protect your home, your family from the elements, lower your energy costs, and upgrade the look and feel of your home. Window Nation can get those windows installed in a day or less, and the windows come with a lifetime warranty. I don't know if other companies are doing that. Listen, 50% off of all windows, 0 down, 0 interest for no payments for 24 months. Just call 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. All they do is windows. They are experts. They have installed nearly 200,000 windows just last year. The average installer has about 10 years of experience, and so they will get that window done, get it right, measure it 3 times to ensure the proper fit. Reach out to them now at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. Netflix will spend the 2024 season with the Boston Red Sox for a docuseries that's similar to the NFL's Hard Knocks, and we've all seen Hard Knocks this past season. I think it was done on the Jets, I believe, wasn't it? Or is it the
Jets
Dolphins?
and the Dolphins.
Jets and Dolphins.
They split it, I believe. I don't watch Hard Knocks.
I've never had. Well, okay, why? Let's go there.
It's traumatic for me, man. Like, everybody watches it and is so excited about it.
Yeah.
This is you ain't never sat in a room and had to go see a guy about a guy and tell him you don't have a job anymore. That's a traumatic experience for me.
Yeah.
And it happened to me multiple times. So I don't. It's not entertainment for me. This is trauma.
You don't watch it. You lived it.
Yeah,
true.
It's traumatic. It really is. I don't.
Fair enough.
It's good. You watch it? Hell no, I lived it.
Yeah.
I need to see a guy getting cut and his hopes and dreams being cut off.
Right.
I like the in-game season Hard Knocks is better than the preseason Hard Knocks, just because there's games that are going on, so then you can react to the games and you see how they react to said games and then their preparation for the next week. You get to see a little bit more of that rather than what Carey's saying, guys just practicing and guys getting cut, and then maybe there's a preseason game.
Yeah.
I like the in-season stuff better.
Yeah, when I had Carey, I asked why you didn't. I thought you were kind of like me. I don't have HBO. But
I'm paying for it. Yeah, I pay for it. So
you're one of your bundles.
One of my 45 bundles.
Sure. Yeah, you
saved me money.
You cut that cord though, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah,
saving money there.
You're saving $0.0.
Yeah, not a dollar.
Anyways, so again, Netflix will spend the 2024 season with the Red Sox for a docuseries like the NFL Hard Knocks. They will also produce a documentary for their historic 2004 World Series championship team, which we don't care about and we don't want to watch because they beat the Cardinals, the best Cardinals team, for my money, that I've ever seen assembled. I don't want to see anything about the Red Sox. I don't like the Red Sox. I don't care about the Red Sox. They're not interesting to me. But let's put that aside, like who the actual team is on. When docu-series come out like this, or Hard Knocks, or pick your favorite thing, quarterback. I know Netflix did something on NASCAR recently. I haven't watched it yet, but that might be interesting. Who gets it right? Or what? How about this? Why do they get it right? Because you may not know what company did it, but why do they get it right in your opinion when it comes to sports? And why do you think they miss the mark?
Well, I think if you get it right, it's because you have an entertaining product. You have people that have, that have charisma, that have something that people want to see.
Yeah.
When it's wrong, it's boring. It's like, I wouldn't watch this guy do anything. It's like watching paint dry. It's about I think it's about the people and if they are entertaining or not. And so if you hit the spot, like, you could probably follow Rex Grossman around anywhere and be entertained because he's going to say some things. John Gruden was that way. This is pre-John Gruden for emails.
Rex Grossman?
Okay.
Rex Ryan. Okay, I'm like...
Not Rex Grossman.
What do you know about Rex Grossman that I don't know?
Rex Ryan.
That makes more sense.
I don't know.
Rex Grossman.
I don't know how the hell I got Rex Grossman. I don't know. I haven't thought about him.
I don't know either.
Years. Either way.
Yeah.
Rex Ryan, you could follow around. John Gruden was entertaining as well. It's about the people and how entertaining they are, how fun they are to watch. When it's not good, I don't know. I don't know what this team will be, how exciting it will be.
I think you have to tell the whole story, right? You want to see the behind the scenes and you want to know things that you wouldn't know from like Twitter, right? So I look at the Florida Gator Untold documentary. I didn't think that one landed as much.
It was terrible.
The Johnny Manziel one was interesting, but it didn't land as much as some of the other ones because they're just rehashing things that we already know. I've already seen a 2004 World Series documentary type thing. Mm-hmm. Hell, they made a movie about it.
Oh, yeah.
Fever Pitch. Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I don't need to see
I
that.
hate that movie.
Yeah, it's a terrible reminder of how things went.
Well, not only that, but everybody loves Jimmy Fallon. I'm not a fan
of. You're not a love story fan. You're not a romance rom-com.
I am not, sir. Okay. No, give me Reacher jacking somebody in the face with his elbow 600 times for no reason or a lot of reasons. I don't know. But
just because he feels like it.
I just think Jimmy Fallon is. Everybody loves Jimmy Fallon. I think he's so talentless.
Tell me how you really feel.
He's like a nice guy, I guess.
Oh, that's awful.
Anthony hates nice guys.
No, I don't hate nice guys. It's just,
That's my job.
I don't think he's that funny. I didn't like him on SNL. So he's laughing at during the skits. Oh, isn't he so likable? Why don't you do the damn skit right? One time. You're laughing up there.
It's difficult.
It's his job.
Well, there you have a point.
Did you ever go to Mike Tomlin and say, why'd you miss that block, Carey? It's difficult.
Listen, you asked me to block Mario Williams, I'll tell you, his arms are longer than mine. It was a bad setup, Coach.
But you still went out there, didn't
tried.
you? Yeah. Walking me right back.
What great effort in life, you know.
Marsh, I agree with you on the Untold, the Florida Gators Untold. I still watched it. It was still interesting, but it wound up being a fluff piece to some degree.
I didn't watch it
because
I heard it was terrible.
They didn't. I mean, they barely scratched the surface. Well, we had some problems.
You think?
But you know what? The guys worked hard. Let's show that clip. It's like, no, you had a murderer on your team, and you know it.
Yeah. I had him up at 4 a.m. doing army drills.
Right. Tim Tebow with the whatever.
The paint on his face.
I think that when, and this is a dumb statement, but when docuseries have this very specific mission and the way they want to show it, and they want to show it in this one way, those are the ones that disappoint. When they show both sides, and at the end you're like, hot damn, I don't know if he did it or not. First half of the show, I thought he did.
Yeah.
Guilty as sin. Last
Dance.
time, I think there's a second shooter.
Last Dance.
Well, Last Dance was fantastic.
It was awesome. For multiple reasons, because we didn't have anything else to do in the house.
That
was number
factored,
one.
yeah, that factored.
But it was good. So it's texted from there.
But you're also learning things that you may not have known
very true.
back in the day.
Yeah, very true.
That's why it was so, and it's Michael Jordan.
Right, yep. And I thought that was as honest as they could be.
I agree.
Which is important.
Yeah.
That docuseries was one of the best. The best one I've ever seen is the ESPN O.J. Simpson docuseries.
Yes, that was great.
From start to finish.
Yes.
What if I told you?
I was enthralled.
That the glove did fit.
They broke down everything.
Yes.
By the end of it, I felt like I walked with OJ through his entire life, including
because it didn't happen.
You were in the passenger seat.
Wasn't there.
Going down
when
the freeway.
He made a drive to Brentwood.
Said he wasn't there.
Or is that where he lived? Was Brentwood?
That's where he went. Allegedly.
That's where he went.
Allegedly.
Well, he was there at some point.
At some point, but not that day.
Whoa. We don't.
That's what he said. That's what they said. Jury of his peers.
Is he still out there trying to look for the real killer?
He doesn't want to go to California because the real killer could be out there.
Yeah.
Could still be out there.
Right. He could sit next to him. There could be a mirror in front of his face. There's all kinds of different scenarios.
He said he didn't do it. It's what OJ said. It's what you heard, Anthony.
Very true, Marsh. That's a great point. All right, we got our Sports Six Pack next. If you want to text us a question, 314-399-9646 is the way to do it. Sports Six Pack next.
Football fans, FanDuel has the perfect way for everyone to get in on Super Bowl 58 action with a no-sweat same-game parlay. But when you bet on Super Bowl 58 on FanDuel, one game can mean a lot of wins. America's #1 sportsbook has all of your favorite bets from the money line to the point spread, plus all sorts of prop bets. What prop bets are intriguing to you, Anthony?
Let's see here. How about Patrick Mahomes over 36.5
rushing yards?
Pass attempts.
Oh, pass attempts.
He's done that. He's done that. Looking at this one side here, six out of the last 7 games.
Go for it. Yep. Do it. I like
it's
it.
It's an 85% clip there. If you don't like that one, they've got all kinds of different props. Isaiah Pacheco props. They've got George Kittle, of course, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, anybody on either side. They've got what color the Gatorade bath is going to be, what the coin toss is going to be. It's all available at FanDuel. When you do that, when you combine all your bets for a chance at a bigger payday, you're going to get bonus bets back if your same game parlay doesn't win. So start building your own, or just bet on a popular same game parlay that is already made for you in America's #1 sportsbook. Just visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast. If you don't already have an account, make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 and older, present in Illinois, minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kevin Moret for Mentality Men's Health. Guys, in the over 23,000 clients who came to us for testosterone treatment, most clients start so they can do it right. After helping men for over 10 years, every day we see new clients whose treatment had shortcuts on treatment and monitoring. This not only affected their results, it was also risky. Guys, work with a doctor, one who monitors your care, reviews labs, and modifies your dose. Our doctors will optimize your free testosterone and maximize you mentally and physically. Schedule in St. Louis at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
You're listening to The Fast Lane, broadcasting live from the Car Shield.
I have a question.
It's time for The Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
If you got a question for Carey, me or Marsh, you can send it in. 314-399-9646 is our air comfort service text line. 506, your time check is brought to you by Collection Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Here's Marsh with your questions.
Question number 1.
From the 314, what are your guys' favorite drink food combinations? Mine is a fresh batch of popcorn and an ice cold Diet Coke over rice.
Okay.
Over rice?
Okay. Mine is
the popcorn's over rice.
I don't know.
Diet
Coke.
So
I don't know.
Rice.
I mean,
it would absorb the Diet Coke, wouldn't it?
I mean, does chocolate chip cookies and milk count?
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Start me off there.
Really?
Oh yeah.
How often are we doing this?
Not often, because I'm lactose intolerant.
Diet Coke over ice.
Over ice. That makes more sense.
Rice.
That makes way more sense.
Thank you, 314.
Yeah.
For clarifying.
I didn't want to knock you.
Over rice.
I don't want to knock. Look, if that's your
Popcorn
thing.
and rice with a Diet Coke.
I wasn't picturing it.
I didn't see it either.
That's why.
Kind of scared
it's
me.
Ice. Yeah. Carey, that was funny.
Hey,
not often.
Not disruptive.
Best drink, and back in the day when I was a teenager, a combination of Taco Bell and a Diet Mountain Dew was solid.
What's up with you like diet soda?
I do.
Why Diet Mountain Dew?
That's not. I didn't even know that was a
Mountain
thing.
Dew by its
absolutely.
Listen.
You ever check the sugar content?
Do the Dew is all you need.
I'm that guy that's like, I'll just do the diet instead. Like it's that much health. It's more healthy for you.
I think it's worse.
But no, it's not worse. Again, you did get like 64 grams of sugar in some of this stuff.
Oh,
that's not good. Might as well have a bucket of ice cream. But yeah, that was a combo.
Intolerant.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I like some chicken strips. Don't care where from. Just chicken strips and a nice Dr. Pepper. No diet, just a Dr. Pepper.
Boy, we are sophisticated, aren't we? I just said Taco Bell and Mountain Dew. Carey threw out chocolate chip cookies
some type
and
of
milk.
Pairing something with a wine of sorts.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, like a steak and a red wine or
something like that.
No,
yeah.
That's a different show, I'm sure, but not us.
This one.
Not this one. Mm-mm. Give us some fast food and some crap soda, and we're good.
Give me some. So if I really want to live on the edge, it'll be White Castles and a Coke.
Okay. That's your jamma. Okay. I like that.
What do you think Jamie's would be? Just like a nice bowl of pasta and a nice glass of bourbon.
Fresh basil. Nice bourbon. I don't, when it comes to drinking like bourbons and whiskeys or even like beer, I don't always love to pair that with food. I know you can, but if I'm drinking, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of cancel each other out, you know?
I think so.
A little bit. When I'm like,
need one.
I'm a couple of whiskeys deep, then I start looking for what do we have around the house, and then it doesn't matter. So I'm not the pairing type.
I feel you.
Yeah. Good question though.
Question number 2.
From the 636, in all of sports, which fan base do you like the least?
Ooh. Which fan base?
Dallas Cowboy fans are terrible. They are so delusional, and it's so damn annoying, man. This is our year. No, it ain't. It's not. Just stop. It's not going to be your year any year. You lost to the Green Bay Packers, the 7th seed. Not only lost, you got the hell kicked out of you in your own home. Please stop telling me every year it's your year. Tell me it's your year when it actually is over and it was your year. Don't tell me again. I'm so sick of those damn people. They are annoying. They are still 1996, man. Almost 30 years since you won one.
That's when I was born.
There you go. You
That's
have
how long
not
it's
seen a championship in your lifetime from America's team. The hell are we doing here? You know why it's America's team? Allegedly, the Pittsburgh Steelers turned it down.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
Just saying.
I thought Jerry Jones just said that the Cowboys were America's team.
He wasn't the owner when it happened. It was back when they were doing the NFL films. And is it Sable? Steve Sable? Is that his name?
Steve Sable did what? Yeah, the Sable.
Either him or whoever was before him.
Yeah, Steve Sable created
was the one that dubbed them America's team.
Interesting. By the way,
if you're America's team, you should. I mean, come on, maybe.
What's funny is that we have one texter who's a Cowboys fan that will listen to Carey say that. So everything Carey just said, that hate that Carey just spewed on his team, and that same texter will go, see, this is why Anthony doesn't like the Cowboys.
And you, Marsh. You never give them credit.
Okay. Yeah, Boston fans for me. Boston fans.
Oh, yeah, they
the entire city?
Oh, yeah.
Not Red Sox, not Bruins, not Patriots.
No, group them all together.
Every Celtics, all of them.
They're all in that city.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of people there, Anthony.
I mean, I'll give you, we could talk about just the Red Sox fans. We could do that.
Okay.
Win in 04. Everybody's cheering them on. And in 06, they're a nation. We're Red Sox Nation. Okay. Okay. I'm not a fan.
All right.
So I'll go that route.
Yeah, how can the Cowboys be America's team when no one in America likes them?
That's what I'm saying.
I think part of it
That's what I'm
is why
saying.
that America's team thing is one of the reasons why I
It's
think a lot of people don't like it.
ridiculous, man.
America's most hated team.
Probably. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Question number 3.
From the 636, will Ryan Day ever become an NFL head coach? If so, what team do you think he would coach?
No.
I don't think so. He's got to beat Michigan. He's got to beat Michigan first, doesn't he?
We got him in
the NFL
before he doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to fire him after the loss to Michigan. He's lost like 5 games in his entire career. In Ohio State, they already got the quarterback to quit. They're trying to get Ryan Day to get the hell up out of there too. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
He's got 5 losses in his career. What,
I think it's like five
3 or 4.
maybe it's 6 now because he lost the
the
Cotton Bowl
Mizzou,
to Mizzou. But
so he's lost to Mizzou. He lost to Georgia in the playoffs last year.
Let's see.
And he's lost to Michigan at least 3 times.
I was told, though, when you go back later in history and you look at that
8 losses,
Mizzou-Ohio State game, that game, like,
nobody pays attention.
Nobody pays attention to it, right? Yeah.
Nobody
No,
cares.
it counted, and it was
Did
against
it?
Ohio State. It did, yes.
Okay.
You're talking about did it. I saw it.
All right. If you say so.
I was there.
All right.
I wasn't there.
All right.
I saw it, though. All right, what are we on, 3?
Yeah.
All right, let's carry this over.
Oh, you want to carry it over?
Why not?
All right.
Let's do that. Sports Six Pack. Continued next on 101 ESPN. AutoCentersNissan.com. Start there. Look at the selection that they have. They have over 700 vehicles at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. But again, start right there at AutoCentersNissan.com. You can peruse the vehicles, whether you're looking at cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, doesn't matter. They've got new Nissans, and they also have pre-owned vehicles, different makes and models. And then when you head out to Herculaneum, you're going to be blown away by the customer service that they have. The facility. You're going to drive out on the lot. You're like, man, there's absolutely a ton of cars here. Great prices, financing options for everyone. Good credit, bad credit, doesn't matter. They've got financing options for you. The people down there are outstanding. One of the things that really stands out when you go down to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, working with their sales team, you could tell how passionate they are about the car industry. They can sit there and talk about cars just as much as they can talk about anything else, and they love it. They're passionate about it, and they want to make sure that they find the right car and the right features for you. 30-day return promise within 30 days. For whatever reason, if you need to bring the vehicle back, you can get the full refund on that. They also give you a lifetime complimentary warranty, too. That comes with all new Nissans. So head out there to Herculaneum, but start at AutoCentersNissan.com, and don't forget to tell them Stalter sent you when you do visit Auto Centers Nissan.
question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's continue our Sports Six Pack. Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh.
Question number 4.
All right, gentlemen, from the 314, rank the All-Star / Pro Bowl from hardest to easiest to make. So I guess out of the 4 major sports, which one's the hardest to make and easiest?
I would say the NBA just because of the lack of positions, right?
Hardest to make?
Smallest rosters. I'm just going sheer numbers. I mean, NBA.
Yeah, but they don't necessarily do. It's almost positionless now, so it's not X number of guards. It's just based off best players.
But what's the roster size? I mean,
15, I think. Well,
football would be 40 or 52 on each side, right?
I think so. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what it is anymore.
Who the hell knows? 3 quarterbacks, 4 runner. Who knows?
Well,
I don't know. I mean, maybe baseball. Baseball is a hard sport in general.
You think baseball is the hardest?
Probably. You got to hit a baseball with a round bat.
I feel like hockey might be the one sport that is mostly about popularity, but I could be off on that. Marsh, you would have a better thought on that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the NFL is the easiest.
You think so?
Yeah, just because you got guys bowing out a lot.
Oh, well, yeah.
And they do it before,
gets in now.
And they do it before the... Does that punch my mic? They do it before the Super Bowl, so you got 2 teams where players can't even, hey, you're a Pro Bowler, but we're gonna pick another guy too. I think so. I would say the NFL is the easiest. I would say the NBA is the hardest, and then baseball and hockey,
fall in there.
Take your pick, 2, 3. That's just my thought.
You got to be very, very good
to be
elite.
Yeah.
In any of them.
I don't know. Like this past NHL All-Star game, I was thinking, wow, Colton Parayko, he could have been an All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the goaltenders, like Georgiev, I don't think that guy's an NHL All-Star. Like Jordan Bennington, like he had roughly the same numbers as some of these guys. I think there is like a popularity. I mean, that's what it is, though, right? Like, that's what it is.
You're trying to showcase your sport.
I do not like the fact that every team in some sports, won't say which ones, have to have a representative.
Baseball.
I think that's all sports.
Hockey, no. Football, no.
Football doesn't.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Basketball, neither.
Yeah.
If you stink, you stink.
I agree with that.
Why the hell are you inviting everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the NBA does this thing now. They do this thing now where, like, they have the Rising Stars game, and that's a way to put some of the, represent some of the teams that suck because they have rising stars.
Yeah, they got good players, but hell, if your team stinks and you don't get an All-Star, you shouldn't just, everybody, here's a trophy for you, pal. You did well enough.
How do you feel about players? I know the NBA does this. Players that are not All-Stars but participate in All-Star events. So, like,
I'm okay with that.
The dunk contest last year was full of a bunch of guys I've never heard of.
Yeah, that's actually
weird.
You don't want that.
You want guys you know.
You want guys you know, but Marsh, you bring up a good point. Like the home run derby, you're not going to get every single person. I do like the All-Star. Nah, I don't know. If you're an All-Star, you should be eligible to compete in the home run derby, but you're obviously selecting certain guys. I don't know if I'm like thinking this through here live. I'll just say if you're an All-Star, then you can compete in the various skills competitions. If you're not, then you're not.
If you're not in the game, you shouldn't be able to be there.
But what I'm saying is, you asked if a player is not an All-Star, can they still compete in the skills stuff? I say no. So you go home. You're not allowed.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
You don't get to experience this.
You can experience it.
Wonderful.
But it's going to be from your couch.
Yeah. There you go.
Question number 5.
From the 314, I guess I'm in the minority that I have not been impressed with Kevin Hayes. This is from Justin. Do you guys agree with Justin?
I I think he's been quiet for the most part, but he's also one of those guys that, as we discussed, you're bringing in to kind of reshape a bit some of the clubhouse aspect of it, or the locker room. Great in the locker room. Kevin Hayes wasn't going to be somebody that was going to play on your top line or anything.
No.
But he has been quiet. So, no, I don't think you're crazy. What do you think, Marsh?
I think he's been fine.
Fast lane fine or fine?
He's
fine?
just been fine.
Okay.
Like, he'll score some goals when you need him to, but I don't think he was brought here to score 30 goals.
Yeah.
Like, that's just who he is. Like, that's how he plays. And
sure.
I mean, this team, it's not like they're amazing by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's been better than a decent amount of players this season.
Okay.
I won't name names.
Really? I think he's been fine.
Well, that's what I said. I think he's been
fast lane fine. Or?
I think he's been better, though, than some other players that are not, like, top 6 players. But he should be, right?
Yeah. Yes, he should. He should absolutely be a top 6. Yeah, I'm with you. He's been fine.
He's been fine. I like him. He's got a great personality. I think he's great for the locker room.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's good.
Great thing.
No,
you don't think it's a good thing to be a blue guy?
I think it's good. Look, let's just move on. He's been fine.
Question number 6.
Asked and answered.
Guys, the Snake Pit is having a conversation about geese and how.
All right, that sounds like our Snake Pit.
Yeah, and how they serve no purpose. What is the most useless animal that comes to mind? You're just thinking, man, why is that thing alive?
I see.
Be careful.
Yeah, because what winds up happening is somebody will send in a text and say, actually, without this animal,
you don't have the ecosystem.
Earth, the Earth actually wouldn't rotate. We'd have no gravity. And we couldn't breathe. So there'd be no oxygen left because you took away this animal. You piece of garbage.
What? I mean, do insects count?
I was going to say
animals?
the insect. We got to go to the insect world, right? Like fleas.
Yeah, mosquitoes.
Those things. I haven't heard one good thing about a mosquito.
Fruit flies.
That'll be back
the
this
cicadas.
summer. The 13-year and 17-year cicada.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do except make a lot of noise in the summer.
The only other thing I could think of is their food for animals that we do like.
Ecosystem, right?
It's the ecosystem.
Have you seen an anteater? I just saw a video of an anteater the other day. Those things are funny looking. They look like they have 2 heads.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah, their arms look like another head.
Huh.
And they're just kind of wiggling around. They got their little nose or whatever that thing is, and they're just sucking up the ants.
And what's an anteater's purpose besides to eat ants?
To eat ants. Yeah,
but I mean, they got to do
Ants
something else,
done.
right?
What have ants done to anyone? I mean, they get in your picnic food, I guess, and then
I don't know what ants do. For the ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. They made a movie called Ants, and that was actually a pretty good movie.
It was.
Animation.
Yeah, it was.
Solid movie. Bugs Life, another
it's a very good
solid movie.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of Bugs Life. I'm not thinking of Ants. I don't think I've seen Ants. I've seen a Bugs Life,
You've seen
though.
Bugs Life?
With old, what's his face there as the grasshopper, the main grasshopper, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, bad guy in the movie.
Yeah.
Bad guy in the movie. As it turns out. Boy,
that was a
art imitated life on that one, huh, boys?
We have a Walrus King from the Snake Pit says a slug.
I was thinking slug.
Yeah. And I think a slug would be in the insect family world, wouldn't it? But
I'm not too sure.
Sloth?
Somebody's going to text in, actually, a slug is part of the arachnid.
Yeah. We have no
Duraplex.
They need to write the random questions.
Right. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. What's that? It's still going on.
With the 618, just get rid of. Never mind.
Okay.
Did you read that?
Yeah.
We'll keep the feet moving on that one.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. All right. It's the Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Is change for the sake of change not always a good thing? Well, one team in particular may say, yeah, big time. We might have screwed up here with the change. That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues will be back in action on Saturday, taking on the Buffalo Sabres. We talked earlier today with our guy from The Athletic, our insider, Jeremy Rutherford. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Earlier today, the Cardinals traded Guillermo Zuniga to the Los Angeles Angels in exchange for cash considerations. Once again, if you missed anything from today's show, we talked a little Cardinals baseball. We talked some Blues hockey. We got into the Super Bowl. If you missed any of that, just go to the website or use the free 101 mobile app. Go to that podcast page, and you'll find all of our shows there. All right, coming up next, we're going to dive into one team that made a coaching change, and now they're not looking so hot. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this SportsCenter update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, the independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Is change for sake of change not always a good thing? Not only in sports, but in life. Well, we'll stick to sports for a second. Carey, you remember when the Milwaukee Bucks fired their head coach?
Yeah, I remember that. Adrian Griffin guy.
Yep. Pretty good record at the time.
Second in the East.
But in fairness, there were also a lot of stories coming out that he really didn't have a grasp of what he was doing in game, late in game, kind of some inexperience that would show. Maybe running a defensive style that didn't fit the current Bucks roster because he had come from Toronto. So both things could be true. They had a lot of success, but there was maybe some cracks in the foundation, and Milwaukee tried to get ahead of it. That's why they brought in Doc Rivers.
Yes.
Who is 1-4 as the Bucks coach.
Oh, no.
Blowing a lead in every single loss.
Oh, no.
Yeah. 7-point lead they blew to the Suns. 13-point lead that they blew to Denver. 15-point lead that they blew to Dallas, and a 19-point lead that they blew to the Jazz.
Well, that's not great. So here's the thing. Adrian Griffin is probably sitting back with his feet kicked up, collecting the rest of his money for the rest of the season. And saying, hell, I told you guys these guys didn't want to play defense. Didn't matter what type of defense. If you got a 19-point lead and you lose that game, you probably lose it because of what, Anthony?
Hey, your defense crumbled.
15-point lead, same thing. 13-point lead, 7-point lead against Phoenix. I mean, it's basketball. They got three guys.
Plus, it's basketball. I mean.
But when you're winning by double digits late in games and you end up losing those games, that's telling.
Yeah.
And if you changed coaches and things are still going in the same way, Dame didn't play last night, so. You take that. I'm not sure how many times he played. He didn't play last night. I was watching the game. He didn't play. I don't know why. And then taking the day off. Load management, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, you got to figure some things out. You're too talented. Chris Middleton got hurt last night. He got his ankle stepped on, or he stepped on Kevin Durant's ankle. It happens. But this is, they should fix this sooner rather than later. And you tried to change it by changing the head coach, and you're still having some issues. 1-4. In five games is it's bad.
You also may have just chosen the wrong guy in Doc Rivers too for this team.
Possible.
I mean, Doc Rivers, he won with the Celtics. He consistently got teams to the playoffs, and that's where Doc Rivers came up short often since getting out of Boston. But you also you decided to kind of correct things, and maybe when you did the course correction, it wasn't the right course correction. I don't think firing a guy, and if it doesn't work immediately, means it wasn't a good decision. They may have been overcoming things early in the season that they would not overcome late in the year. And if a lot of the problems were not being ironed out, and the Bucks got bounced in the first round of the playoffs, and all the players or reports started, maybe not even players, but reports came out that Griffin couldn't understand. He didn't understand some of the late game stuff that he's been criticized about. You're like, well, why did you let this happen?
Right.
So I think moving on from him is step one. Bringing in the next guy is step two. If you don't get step two right, it doesn't mean you made the wrong decision in step one. You know?
Yeah.
So now it's a matter of, is it the players or is it the coaches?
Well, I mean, it's the same players. It's a different coach. And so if you're having some of the same issues and not keeping leads, sustaining leads, you would have to start looking at the guys in that locker room and saying, what do we need to do better?
Yeah.
And how can we finish games? Because clearly Giannis is a star of stars. Mm-hmm. And you bring in Dame Lillard, who is another star of stars. Both of those guys are is it top 75 now? Top 75 players in the NBA. 76. I think they added an extra one. But they are some of the greatest players to ever play this game, and they got one coach fired, and they are 1-4 with the new head coach, who is a championship head coach, but has had his struggles in the playoffs, which got him fired last year.
Yeah,
they better figure something out.
Yep.
Because defensively, if they stink in the manner in which they do, and that's the reason why you fired Adrian Griffin to begin with, because you either are defenses. It doesn't matter. It's about will. It ain't about skill more times than not. When you're on the defensive end, whether it's basketball, and Jamie talks about it often in hockey, it's about your want to. How bad do you want to play defense for this, in basketball, 24-second period? Do you want to lock down and really get after it? If you don't, you're going to give up a lot of points. If you don't want to get rebounds, you're going to give up second chances and you're going to give up more points. So that seems to be the issue right now that I'm seeing from the Bucks, just a will to do so on the defensive end.
How can we relate this to the Blues and the Cardinals? Obviously, the Blues did make a head coaching change this season, and then a lot of people want the Cardinals to do the same coming up. Others don't. But how can we sort of mix these two?
Yeah, so with the Blues, obviously, they had the best decision ever, which was to put Craig Berube into the interim spot and watch him work his magic. And it was just the right guy for the right team. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it didn't work out, and that it really frustrated me and angered me at the time. And I said it as much right after he was fired. The next show, that he was fired after a game one night, and then we came on, and I, kind of went ham for four hours.
Yeah, but
Drew Bannister's done an excellent job. Mm-hmm. If ultimately you could fire a good head coach, somebody that X's and O's. Leadership, he's got everything. But for whatever reason, he's not connecting to the players. Mm-hmm. You could have teachers that win awards and they're fantastic, and some students just sit there and you're like, I don't know what this, I can't learn under this teacher.
Correct.
And if you have enough of those students or enough of those players in this instant that are not responding, then you do have to make a change. Because it's a hell of a lot easier to get rid of the coach than it is to get rid of X amount of players.
Correct.
But the Blues, we've seen this now twice. It really worked out with Craig Berube winning a Stanley Cup. Drew Bannister, if he gets into the playoffs, I think that would be a success, and I think you should probably retain him. As for the Cardinals, they made a switch midseason with Mike Shilton that worked out. It did. Midseason when Mike Matheny got fired.
It's going to be intriguing to see if the Blues do make a playoff push, if they decide to keep Drew Bannister around. Mm-hmm. I would be interested to see how that all plays out, because the team has responded for the most part. It hasn't been great every game, but it's been much better than it was in the first half of the season. Well, before Berube got fired. Yep. If he makes a playoff push or makes it to the playoffs, right now I think they're still sitting at are they number 2 seed in the wild card, or did that change
Blues?
since they haven't played? Yeah.
Let's see here. Get you an updated. Checked. We'll get you an updated standings.
I haven't checked since they haven't been
on the
playing.
old Blues note.
They are still number 2 seed, ahead of Nashville in the wild card.
Suck it, Nashville.
Yeah. So there's that. Man,
he's done a really nice job.
Yes.
All right, we'll play a very quick bet the board. 3 stars of the day, criticisms, compliments next on 101 ESPN.
2-1. Anthony is 0-3. Carey, you're 2-1, and I am 1-2. So it will go Jamie, Carey, me, Anthony.
Alrighty. Who does Jamie have?
I make better picks for Jamie.
You stay out of this.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't get to.
Well, actually, we probably should have.
Yeah, why don't you have me pick it?
Well, you
Since
go
I'm
ahead.
the kiss of death.
Well, you picked well for him, though. You just don't. Why? You should swap your pick.
I should do that.
Why don't we give him Dallas against Toronto?
There you go. Marsh, you make the pick.
Stars over Maple Leafs.
Okay,
Money
there
line.
you go.
Plus 110.
Done.
Easy.
All right, who's next?
I'm next. I told you all we should have done this about an hour ago. Jonathan Kuminga has scored 20-plus points in 9 of his last 10 games for the Warriors. An hour ago it was 20.5, and now it's at 21.5, and I would have taken the over. And he's going to score 21 points tonight, and I'm going to be mad, but I'm still going to take the over. 21.5.
Okay, there you go.
And then when he scores 21, I'm going to bite my mic muff.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine.
So upset.
Gary.
All right.
You're going to be great.
All right.
All right, Marsh.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin minus 5.5 against Michigan tonight in college basketball.
Well, you've got to win, although it's not 5.5, it's 7.5.
Well, it was 5.5.
See how it changes?
Because I have Michigan plus 7.5. So you got yourself a dub. Congratulations, Marsh.
Is Illinois playing tonight? Let me check.
Well, I guess I'll change it.
Oh, stay with it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Well,
but you got to have it.
I don't want that at minus 7.5. I don't.
It's 7.5.
It was much like what Carey said. It was at minus 5.5.
So annoying.
So I'm going to go.
It is 7.5. Yeah.
We have the Rangers and Tampa Bay Lightning. I will go with over 1.5 goals in the first period.
There you have it. All right, there's Bet the Board here in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Marsh, we got, what do you want to do? 3 stars or criticisms or compliments? What do you want?
Yeah, we can do some criticisms and compliments. We have from the 314, hey CD, you mentioned the failure in blocking Mario Williams. Now tell us about the block that you still think about and was a game changer. Success is worth mentioning. You were good, man.
That's awesome.
I appreciate that. Well, it was
Talk about
definitely
lifting
be
somebody up, man. That's
AFC
great.
Championship game opening kickoff. I think that set the tone for the entire game. One of the hardest hitting games I've ever heard.
What Raven did you kill that day?
Something Stone. He fell like a stone.
Darren Stone?
Might have been.
Darren Stone?
I don't know.
Mark Stone?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I believe it was Stone. He was stoned.
He was stoned. By our guy, Carey Davis, that's for sure. That was nice, though. That was a great text.
We have a mic drop from Janet.
Anthony, you're goofy. Kelce is a tight end. The tight end's position is to block and to receive, and he does both. A wide receiver normally does not block. A tight end does both.
Right, and George Kittle is a better blocker by far, and he is as skilled as a pass catcher. He just doesn't have the numbers.
That's not what Carey said,
And
remember?
you know what? Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. George Kittle doesn't have the receiving numbers because he's a tight end. I did not play in the NFL. So what I say is stupid. Carey was on Janet's side. Janet's smart. Carey's smart. Bingo, bango, bongo. I'm an idiot.
Bada bing.
Are you ready for the 3 stars today?
Yes.
All right, let's get to it. Our 3rd star of the day, this man, he hurt his finger. A paper cut. So we got to give our 3rd star of the day to Jeremy Rutherford.
I love it.
For his fingers hurting.
Yeah, my fingers
and
hurt.
playing through it, getting the mail out the mailbox.
And that was
My fingers hurt.
Oh, well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Anybody else's fingers hurt? I didn't think so. That's awesome.
So JR is our 3rd star of the day. Our 2nd star of the day goes to the Anteater. For whatever that thing does.
Wow.
We don't know.
We're just handing out stars to anybody, huh?
Especially, I mean, we do. Usually, if you're not in the room, you get a star.
Yeah, you get a star. That's a good point, Marsh. It's a real strong point.
So our Anteater is the 2nd star of the day. And speaking of somebody that's not in the room but decided to show off, in our group chat. From Mexico, Jamie, but not just Jamie Speedo.
Yeah. Way to go.
Good job.
Has he posted it yet to social media? I haven't seen it.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Right. Okay. All right, that'll do it for us. Do want to tell you, though, that this Friday morning, you can heat up St. Louis during the 24th annual Hardee's Rise and Shine fundraiser. Stop by any participating Hardee's in the bi-state area this Friday morning and grab a sausage biscuit or egg biscuit for just $1. 100% of the proceeds of all funds collected will help heat up St. Louis, supporting people in need in both Missouri and Illinois. That's this Friday morning at any participating Hardee's. Find more info at 101ESPN.com. They get you, too?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep, good job.
Excellent. Hey, everybody, thank you for participating in the show, for being a part of it with us today, for listening, for watching via the Air Alliance team YouTube channel at 101ESPN.com. Go Snake Pit, or if you're just listening in your car, we appreciate it throughout the course of the day today. We're looking forward to tomorrow, too. Maybe we're getting a more Super Bowl. We're days away. Carey Davis, for Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.